Toxic relationships are everywhere. So we're giving you 5 examples of toxic relationships that get increasingly more toxic so you can avoid them. Put on your hazmat suit and let's jump into number 5.
Burger King foot lettuce.
Today I effed up by ignoring a helicopter crash where I could have saved someone because my wife said, it's not worth your time.
Yikes.
Kobe could have survived. No! So this happened, I don't know, in 2008, and it's a memory that unfortunately won't go away in my life. It popped up again unintentionally and unprovoked the other night, and it just doesn't sit right with me, and I'm always left with regret and a remorse. So the year was 2008 or so. I tried Googling the news headlines to corroborate my claim, but I'm not very good with that sort of advanced research. My then wife at the time is not a good person at heart. Yikes.
Called it.
She was a Karen in training and very self-centered. We were heading up the 101 in California for her cousin's wedding one weekend. I want to say it was around Salinas before the exit to head west to Monterey. That is when the accident happened. I saw a spray helicopter about 100 yards on our right take off from the fields and watched it get about 50 feet in the air, not too high for a helicopter, but enough to be low for a helicopter. I saw it hovering there and then saw the propellers for a second quite visibly, which caught my attention because you should honestly never see them rotating that fast when airborne. So now I'm paying complete attention to the helo, which I guess is short for helicopter, and I watched smoke come out of its engines and then just stop and plummet to the ground like a rock. I saw it happen and pointed it out, and I started to pull over to the shoulder to help, and she yells at me, "What are you doing?" I'm pulling over to help. What are you going to do? I've got a fire extinguisher in the car. I can go put out the flames and try and pull them out. You're not a Marine anymore. You can't just go running off and saving people anytime anymore, but they could be hurt, and I see smoke everywhere. No, we're going to be late for the wedding. Let someone else deal with it. So away we went. I found out later on during the week in the news that 2 people died inside the fire before emergency services got there. The worst part is that when we finally arrived to her cousin's wedding, we found out that we were deemed unimportant enough for the actual ceremony, and it was the reception we were hurrying to. I feel like those deaths are on me, and I should have done something. Edit, thanks for all the well wishes and DMs. No, I don't know why comments got locked. I received no messages about it. I'm aware I've got issues with PTSD from war-related things, and mostly in my time as a PMC. What's a PMC?
Private military company.
Okay.
Like security contractors.
Right. I do therapy and talk about everything. Perhaps it's time to add this one to the list. It is odd to me that specific instances pop up, but thanks for allowing me to share it. I still feel bad though, slightly less bad, thanks some to the comments. The helicopter never actually exploded, but yes, I'm aware my rinky-dink extinguisher would have been as useful as a bottle of water. If I remembered correctly, it was a small cockpit fire and the engine had just died, hence my regret for not at least trying. No one's found the article yet, but I appreciate the effort truly. It's why I mentioned it. If it helps, I want to say it was around early afternoon maybe. Definitely not that morning crash people keep sending me where the people survived. I wish it was though. So what do you think? Is OP's wife the a-hole for not letting him save 2 people from a fiery death?
How close were they again?
They were on, like, I guess it was like they were on the freeway and it was like right on the other side of the freeway.
Do you think you could save someone from that?
I don't know. If you saw a helicopter crash on the side of the road, would you stop?
I'd call the cops.
I saw a fire like last week that was pretty big and I called the cops.
Dude.
Yeah. 911 baby. It was the first time I did it actually.
Really?
They asked for my name, yeah.
Huh.
I've never called 911 before.
That's crazy. I do have a 911 story.
Have you? What did you do?
I called 911.
Wait, really quick. Put your answers in the comments. 1, if you've ever called 911 before and why. And 2, if you saw a helicopter crash, would you try to do something or would you just call 911 or would you do nothing? Riley, what's your 911 story?
I was in 7th grade.
Yeah.
And my dad's friend needed help, cutting down some trees, like some little thin pine trees.
Yeah.
They were dead at his house. So my dad got this dump truck and it was me, my brother, and my dad and his friend. And it was hot. So he's left-handed using a right-handed chainsaw. So he's cutting this tree kind of at this angle right down the middle. And I remember seeing him do it. So I walked around him as he was doing it and he went boom, boom, boom. Right into the face. right into the face.
This is your dad.
This is my dad. You know what the first thing I thought was?
What?
He's gonna have an eye patch. And then my second thing was like, oh, this would be a great time to call 911. And I called 911. They come.
Wait, what happened with your dad's face?
He had to get a metal plate in his face, but he's good now.
But his eyes?
If he didn't have the sunglasses on, he would have lost an eye.
Wow.
But he's good.
Damn, that's crazy.
It was pretty nuts.
Good on you for thinking quick, being calm, and calling 911.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm going to call it on? This story, and I'm going to go to the next one. My boyfriend manipulated me for the last time, so I'm going to throw him out. Am I the a-hole? And this is near and dear to the heart because this is from r/OKOP show posted by UB2000. So when I, 23 female, was 19, so I guess 4 years ago, I was working at a hotel as a room service attendant. I met a 26-year-old man who worked through a temp agency in banquets. The age difference never really struck me as I already had a thing for older guys. Okay, so he's 7 years older, 19 and 26. I mean,
would you date a 19-year-old?
I think it would be weird dating someone in college. But if it was like a 19-year-old that wasn't in college and like was doing like crazy cool things in the world, maybe. I think it's more of like a less of an age thing and more of like a
interest.
Are you smarter than a 10-year-old?
But looking back, it was rather disturbing that a man with a fully formed brain was interested in someone who had just become an adult that year. In our state, 19 is the age of adulthood. He was charming, and I had a low self-esteem. As we connected, he told me he was homeless. Man, OP, you could do better. Me being the autistic, overly empathetic, and naive people pleaser, I asked my mom if he could stay with us. To my utter shock, she said yes. I was somewhat uncomfortable with the whole thing because I recognized that I hardly knew this man. Why are you inviting a dude that you don't know into your home?
He's charming.
He's charming. He's hot.
He's hot.
Possibly. But again, I was a people pleaser, so I told my mom and said yes. He was always vague about how he ended up homeless, which should have been a red flag, but I blinded myself because he was giving me a lot of attention. I think I was holding out hope that the red flags were to a mini golf course. It's funny of you. We also ended up hooking up the first night, but I honestly didn't know how to feel about that because it was my second time ever with anyone. His manipulation slowly started peeking its way in. It started with him never wanting to leave my room beyond going to work. Weird. He would also make comments about work like, you could never do what I do in banquets, and your day couldn't compare to mine, which did make me feel something of a negative feeling, but I just brushed it off. He then would trash the shows I like and insists we watch stupid shows and scary movies he wanted to watch. It got even more toxic from there. He also at one point tried telling me the new phone I chose for myself was the wrong phone because it wasn't the phone he told me to get. This might sound odd, but I really loved that phone, so that was what started souring my view of him. Then the fateful night started. That evening, I was at work when he drunkenly called me, and I could hear women in the background and whistling with loud music. After I got off my shift, I found him plastered and later found out he spent his entire check at a strip club and never paid my mom for anything, and he's staying in their house. The absolute final straw was when he fell over and smashed one of my bins that held very important, to me at least, craft projects I had spent months upon months completing. I told him he was done. I had tolerated far too much and I was sick of it. He packed his stuff, and at 2 a.m. as I was driving him to work, where he said someone could pick him up, he hopped out of the car at a red light and left his stuff in the trunk. I tried to go after him, but it was seriously dark with minimal street lighting. I ended up the next day dropping his stuff off at security. My boss was pissed, and I tried getting him banned from the property, but couldn't since it happened off the premises and off the clock. That night, I drove to the Walmart and browsed through the clearance section until I felt like it was okay. So he just like ran off?
Yeah.
That's what happened? Jeez. I also fixed my bin with a couple rolls of duct tape from the clearance section, and I fixed some broken crafts. The whole experience left me shaken, angry, sad, betrayed, and confused. But as I look back on it, I'm ultimately proud of myself for kicking him out at all, as any other women in my family would have begged him to come back. I have not been in a steady relationship since, but I've been single by choice the past 2 years and building on myself and my life. Remember, guys and gals, no one has the right to make you feel any negative feelings about yourself. Never let someone tear you down, even if you're strong enough to build yourself back up. We are all worthy of never having to settle. Please let me know if you need to edit this for any reason. Thank you. Thank you for submitting that, and awesome for you to like actually leaving. But OP, never let some random dude live with you again.
Yeah.
Unless they're very vetted, because that's a little spooky.
And your mom like being like, yeah, Of course.
I'm surprised OP's mom was so chill with it.
Yeah.
My mom would not be chill.
I can only imagine what your mom would say.
My mom would be furious.
We were in the car today and Sam's mom called and she had a list of like things Sam should check on for the house. And I was like, wow, she really loves
bossing me around.
I didn't want to be hopefully she doesn't watch this, but like I didn't want to be that way, but she loves him. She loves him.
She cares, but it's intense sometimes. But let's get into this next story.
Mommy issues.
What are you saying? Am I the asshole for telling my son he deserved his girlfriend breaking up with him?
What'd you do, buddy?
My son has had a long distance girlfriend recently for about 2 years. She was great, a really nice girl, and we all loved her and welcomed her with open arms. She was flying here constantly to visit him like a weekend a month, and he didn't lift a finger to go visit her, which is kind of messed up. I tried talking to him about it several times and told him he should really start looking into flying over to her instead of expecting her to do all of the traveling. He said, no, she can come to me. This don't fly. And my wife probably had something to do with it, as she constantly told him she was afraid of him flying. I spoke to them both and said this girl is great for him. She was willing to move over to our country too. Oh, so they're a country away.
Oh.
But said there was one condition, and that was he'd have to fly over to her country too, which is fair enough. He said, no. He didn't want to fly to travel anywhere. My son was becoming lazier and lazier, eventually telling his girlfriend and us that he was perfectly fine never traveling anywhere, including holidays, etc. And last week, he told us she dumped him. I went on her Facebook page and we're all still friends. And she wrote us an apology letter about how she's upset it didn't work out, but these things happen, so we're on good terms. And it looks like she's with a new guy already. That's back. Me and my wife have no doubt she was seeing him while still in a relationship with my son. I confessed to them both that I actually agree with her decision and he should have expected it. He did not treat her properly, and I hope he learns lessons for the next one because he needs to make more of an effort. I said he deserves it for his lack of effort in the relationship and for essentially just allowing this girl to spend all her money and time coming here all the time. Wife and son are very upset that I said this. Very upset. And my wife says I'm being horrible. So am I the asshole? I stand by what I said. I would love to know what you guys think. Put your answers in the comments if you think OP's the asshole. I think, yes, there is a time to say all of this, but I don't think it's immediately after he just got broken up with.
Yeah.
Because it's like, he's in an emotional state.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna, he's not gonna receive that well in that state, you know?
Yeah. I would like to know like kind of the tone he like said it to him.
I mean, it seems like a bad tone.
Was it pretty stern?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems pretty shaky. I don't think if that was my son, I think I would be consoling initially and then be like, hey, like when he's a little bit better, like, hey, I want to talk to you about the relationship. I don't think you treated her right.
Yeah. I feel like the son wasn't considerate because like all the time and money she spent on him whenever he was like, you're all right.
And also, it is a long distance relationship with it that's very hard. And the son's young, you know, and maybe he's also just not that into her too.
Yeah.
It just could be that as well.
It's a learning lesson.
Yeah. It feels like a little bit of an asshole move by OP to like rub into him. But I do think maybe if OP is saying like, hey, if you don't want this to happen again, like this is what you should do, give advice from that perspective. But I think laying into him while the son is raw is kind of like a little mean.
Yeah. Of course.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Put your answers in the comments. But we're going to get into this next story. Am I the a-hole for being mad at my boyfriend for not taking these noodies the way I like? Or is it noodles?
Noodles.
Oh, it's noodles. These noodles. You're not making noodles the way I like? Are we sure? It's noodles?
Yeah, it's noodles.
It's literally noodles. I thought it was like a code for nudes.
No, noodles.
No, it's noodles. Okay. Am I the asshole for being mad at my boyfriend for not making the right noodles? Okay. I thought it was like, oh, dude, like this angle ain't good. No, it's like the consistency of these noodles is not great.
I want to see your face.
Okay, this sounds dumb, but hear me out. I've always been a picky eater, especially when it comes to tomatoes. That is very specific. Ever since I was a kid, my dad would make my spaghetti different from the rest of the house. I like having an essence of the sauce flavor on the noodles, but not the overpowering flavor of having noodles bathed in sauce. So here's where it gets a bit odd. My dad would separate my spaghetti from the family's after putting the sauce on, and then would rinse the sauce off with the sink strainer. I love noodles like this as it is nice, subtle tomato vibe given to the mild spaghetti. Wow. My 20 boyfriend, 26, has known about this since we started first dating. He always told me my food habits were cute. We've been dating for almost 3 years now and moved in together at the beginning of the pandemic, so we could be in lockdown together. Ever since we moved in together, he insisted on taking charge of cooking and all cooking related tasks, dishes, groceries, shopping, etc. And he assigned me the role of cleaning the bulk of the apartment. We split the other tasks pretty much 50-50. Everything was perfect. And he always seemed to be making noodles the way I liked them when we had them. This was until last week when we had spaghetti. We ate everything and it was good, but afterwards he started teasing me, saying things like, really like your pasta with an essence of tomato, and how was your tomato essence, babe? Always using finger quotes around the word essence. After a few comments, I felt something was off and asked him if he had done anything differently with tonight's noodles than he usually does, and he started laughing. When he finally stopped laughing, he told me the whole truth while smirking. He said, I didn't do anything different than I usually do. I have never been making it the way you requested. But if you don't know,
Break up.
yeah, break up. He lied to you. That lying bitch. He deserves to be broken up with.
Yeah, like it's like, yeah, if you didn't know, then what's the big deal? Like if you still liked it.
Yeah. It's not like you're like, the essence is too essency. I want less essence of tomato.
Yeah.
Too much tomato. Water down, sir.
This is a good thing.
Yeah. Like,
You like
now it
tomatoes
seems
now.
like you have regular spaghetti tastes.
Yeah.
Apparently, the entire time we've been living together, he's just been skipping the pasta sauce on the noodles entirely. Oh, he hasn't been putting anything on. He claimed that if I didn't notice for this long, then it shouldn't matter that he is making dinner in a way that's easier for him. I disagree entirely. I think the lying was a huge breach of trust, and so was the refusal to make dinner how I wanted. I've admittedly been acting passive aggressively to him since, but he thinks he did nothing wrong, that I'm overreacting, and that I need to let it go. Am I the asshole? I want to know what all of y'all think. But I mean, if you don't notice, I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, no. It's not a big deal at all.
And I don't know if it's a breach of trust.
It's just like
If you were like allergic to peanuts and you put peanuts in there, that would be a breach of trust.
Yeah. But it's like you're making a sandwich for someone and you're like, hey, like don't add mustard and there's mustard in it and then you like mustard. Like
Yeah.
it should like
If you can't tell that it's different, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think that's the rule. I don't know. What do you guys think? Put your answer in the comments. But there is an edit. So my boyfriend found the post and is not happy. I'm debating pouring the sauce directly down the drain to spite him. That's a dick move. So a lot has happened since this morning. Y'all may be happy to hear we broke up. Oh my God, over sauce. We had a huge blow up fight since he found the post, which led to me breaking up with him. Wait, she broke up with him. He did not like being called a predator. What? And I started to think y'all had a point. Wait, the comments are saying he's a predator? What? So I ended up breaking up with him. He attempted to plead with me for a bit, but my parents pay our rent, so he can't afford the place without me. But I wouldn't budge. So now he's homeless? Now, oh my God. Now some things I found out in the argument. First, he is not a pharmacist like he always told me. He just works at CVS. Second, he actually has cheated on me multiple times with other girls that go to my college. And lastly, worst of all, he has never actually been allergic to dogs and just doesn't like him. Okay, I guess he's a dick, but damn.
this is the wildest way of figuring all of that out.
Dude. And like over sauce.
Over sauce and noodles.
All right, don't come with me. All right, you guys better not come at me in the comments and be like, Sam, you're such a dick for not believing or not like thinking the sauce is important because like you should have known all along this guy was a massive lying dirtbag. Don't you know the end of the story? I didn't know the end of the story. Don't come with me in that shit. Yes, she should break up with him because of all the other stuff that's bad, not because of the sauce. I can already hear the comments coming in. Sam, you were judgmental asshole. I like John better. I miss John. I do miss John.
I do miss John.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, I do miss John.
I did an R.I.P. joke on you.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
John.
R.I.P. John. Put
Yeah.
R.I.P. John in the comments if you miss him, and write the first line of his eulogy.
Great.
John was my favorite lover and friend.
Damn it, I was gonna say that.
Oh man. All right. Well, I guess deservedly broke up with, and I'm glad the sauce revealed the holes in your relationship. And it seems like you strained away everything that was bad in your life, which was your boyfriend. But I don't know. Is the sauce thing that important? Let me know in the comments. Am I the asshole for making my girlfriend leave the country? I mean, I, 28 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 27 female, for 5 years. We met in college where she was an international student. She started working after graduating while I'm currently doing a master's. Her company was sponsoring her visa until they got bought out and she got laid off. She was given a limited time to find a new employer to sponsor her a new visa, and it really stressed her out. I've had some friends do that, and it's like a massive stressor because like you get kicked out of the US if you don't have a job. She was applying to jobs every day and did a lot of interviews, but unfortunately wasn't able to get an offer. She really wanted to stay since she loves the place and I would still be here in the country, right? She wants to be with Boo. While I was out with a buddy, he suggested that I sponsor her visa. We have been in a relationship for quite some time. I love her and I didn't want to see her so stressed out, so I told her about the idea. She was hesitant at first. She said she didn't want me to think that she was with me so I could be her way to a permanent residence / citizenship in the country. I wanted her to stay and I wanted to do it. Nice guy. And nothing will go wrong.
Nothing at all. I
Nothing.
mean, it's on Reddit.
It's on Reddit, which means happy endings. Also, put I see you in the comments if you see something amiss in the future. Little darkness in the path. So we consulted an immigration consultant and decided to do the paperwork on our own. She was the one who mostly looked into the stuff we needed to prepare. She still applied for jobs, but not as urgently as she used to. It took a while since we never really had anything joint. We lived together and just split the bills on our own. She had enough saved up to be okay for a while. So they had like separate finances, but they're tying the knot-ish.
Yeah.
I guess so within the sponsorship, are they getting married or are they just like, he's just a sponsor because they're in a relationship?
I think that.
Yeah, that's what it seems like too. I had to fill out some paperwork to be her sponsor and I felt uneasy about it. I did want her to stay, but it felt like it was too much. Eventually, she was done with her part and all that was left was mine. I finally told her that I didn't want to go through with it.
Dude. This was his idea.
That's really bad because she's like, oh, I don't need to worry about jobs as much because my boo got me.
Dude, it's like.
And also, what makes you uncomfortable about it? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, why are you uncomfortable?
I don't know. Like, maybe she's not wifey.
Maybe she's not wifey. I think that's an indicator that maybe he's like not super into it.
Yeah. But you don't promise somebody something and then like, oh, never mind. Gotcha.
I mean, especially when their livelihood and their ability to stay in the country depends on
solely on you.
On you. Yeah. She was very upset and asked why, which is what I would ask too. Which I am asking that right now. I told her that I suggested the idea because I didn't want to see her stressed out all the time and that I eventually realized that I shouldn't have to be responsible for her. We had a long talk where I told her that I still want to be in a relationship with her. Oh, buddy, I don't know if that it's going to survive this, but I just don't want to be forced to be responsible for her. She said she felt very hurt by what I said. Things changed and she didn't really talk to me after. She kept applying for jobs and attending interviews, but eventually her visa expired. Before she left, I told her I love her and that I would really want her to come back. Really? How much do you want her to come back? Because there is a way that you can keep her there.
Yeah.
So you don't really want her back.
No. He wants her to come back, not stay.
Yeah. He wants her to come visit. Come visit. I won't pay for anything.
You can come visit.
You can come visit. However, she told me that she sees me differently after the things I told her.
Yeah.
Duh. It's been a few weeks since she left. I miss her cooking, her presence, and being able to spend time with her. I miss when she just made me all my food. Dude, you could have had it all.
Could have had it all, man. Fill out the paperwork.
I still want a future with her. However, our close friends have been telling me that I was an asshole. I disagree and think they're biased. So here I am asking Reddit, am I the asshole? And there is an edit, but right now he is the asshole for trying to be the angel. That's what the thing is, because he was trying to like save the day and help her with her visa. It is perfectly fine to not offer that, right? He didn't have to offer that. But by offering that, she now wasn't pursuing the work opportunities as much. And now and then by rescinding it, he's just jeopardized her ability to stay in the country. So like he wouldn't be the asshole if he never even mentioned it. Yeah. And said, or just said, oh no, I don't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
In the
and
beginning.
then she would have pursued looking for other jobs.
Yeah. But he's the asshole now because he totally her over.
Dude, I love the part where he was like, I hated seeing her stressed out all the time. So I mentioned this so she wouldn't be stressed out all the time. And then he realized, oh, I don't want to do this. That's what.
And
that's
also,
what
it's like she's stressed out all the time because this is like the biggest thing in her life, and you just completely screwed her. All right, so here's the edit. I've read through a lot of comments and everyone seems to think I'm the a-hole here. To those asking what my responsibilities would be, I would have to be financially responsible for her for 3 years. If she gets any government assistance or social welfare, I would have to pay it back. I also can't sponsor anyone else until the 3 years have passed. Also, I listed what I missed about her in no particular order. I listed that I miss her cooking first, but it doesn't mean I don't miss her. To people who said I'm probably an immigrant too, what does that have to do with anything? My parents moved to where we are now, so here I am. I still stand by what I said. No one I know has to do anything like this. It just doesn't feel normal. I would want to eventually have a home with her, but I don't think anyone should have to be responsible for another person's decisions or their circumstances. It's just gaslighting if you convince someone that they should be. Man, gaslighting. I don't like that gaslighting is thrown about willy-nilly these days. I don't know if anyone will see this edit since it has been a few days. I have updates, so I'll probably do a separate post about it when I have time. The thing is, if you really wanted to be in the relationship, you would help her stay in the country. Like if it was wifey, but she's maybe you just don't believe that she's wifey.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like she's wifey to you, buddy.
Yeah. But do you think he's the asshole? Yeah.
Oh, 100%. He should have done his research before he like brought it up.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. How is he figuring out that this is what you need to do like months later? It's dumb. It's like if like someone was like, hey, can you turn in my homework to the professor? And the guy's like, yeah, I can turn in your homework to the professor. And then the dude just doesn't turn it in. He's the asshole for not turning it in because he said he was going to turn it in. And now your paper's late and you get an F.
You don't pass the class.
You don't pass the class. You get kicked out of school, get sent to your home country.
Oh,
Feel bad for OP. Yeah, I have a friend in San Francisco that I used to live with, and he's from India. And like he has, I think it's like an H1 or H3 visa, HB3 something, HB3, something like that. And he has to have a job. And if he gets like let go or fired, and doesn't get a new job in time, he gets booted from the country. And his whole life is here.
Oh my gosh. That is very rough.
But now I want to rough you guys up and tell you this next story.
Yeah. Rough me up.
Am I the asshole for bringing up my brother's premature birth at a family dinner at Christmas to shut my parents up?
If that's what it takes, go at it.
So I am a nurse practitioner and I am the primary care provider for a lot of the low risk maternity cases at the practice where I work. I also work hand in hand with the doctors and midwives to create a healthy maternity birth and postpartum situation. My fiance is completing her residency. We live together and have for a few years now. We aren't in any hurry to get married. We originally had plans to do so a couple of years ago, but then we got really busy for 2 years. It is driving my very religious parents crazy that their youngest son is living in sin. Yeah. Festering in sin. I don't really care. I'm an adult and I do what I want. We are getting married in June. So it's like, I mean, they're getting married, but they're like, oh, they're living together. They're sinful babies. So we are visiting my parents for Christmas. The way it came together this year, everyone is at my parents' house. So that's my folks, my 3 siblings, myself and my fiance, and 7 grandchildren. So 17 people total.
Big group.
At dinner, my mom starts going on about how she is so glad that we are finally getting married and she won't be embarrassed at church anymore. Wait, Riley, really quick. If this kind of thing happened, like would like a parent or something, maybe not your parents, but someone else's, like, is that true? Like people would be embarrassed if like you're living together.
Yeah. If I was living together with a girl and we're not married, my parents would be kind of like disappointed.
Even if it's a fiance?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They don't want any of that. Cause like no sex before marriage. So like if you're living together, you're doing it. But if you're not living together, you're definitely not doing it in their eyes.
What if you have separate beds?
Like in the 50s in the TV shows?
Yeah.
You could probably convince them. Be like, hey, there's no way she could be on this bed with me.
Yeah. It's too small.
It's way too small. It's a twin.
No one has ever had sex in a twin bed before.
That's crazy.
It's for one person.
One person.
Yeah. And my dad says how proud he is of his 3 older kids who all either waited to get married before moving in together or got married right away after moving in together. My fiance was getting embarrassed and I was getting mad over this stupid argument we've had too many times, and a family dinner was the last straw. I've asked them repeatedly to just accept that they cannot control how I live my life. I refuse to stay with them when I visit, even if I come alone. Hotels are just easier because I guess they're not judging him as much. So I started talking about a premature baby I had been reading about. It was almost 3 months premature and weighed about 1.6 pounds. So if your friend was 4 months premature, it was probably like a pound baby.
Yeah.
Riley was 8 pounds. His brothers were 10 pounds, 1.6 pounds. It was super strong and healthy for being born so little, and the NICU had high hopes for the baby doing well. My mom and dad both got deer in the headlights looks on their faces. Too bad. Should have not effed around about my fiance's feelings. So I asked about my oldest brother. He was born about almost 4 months premature. Is there a chance that we could check out the family album where we keep all the records of family births and stuff? I already know my brother was over 9 pounds and 23 inches long when he was born, which is huge. My grandmother told me all about it the first time my parents tried to shame me. The baby was not 4 months premature because they got pregnant 4 months before they got married.
Ooh.
Oh,
Math ain't mathin'.
The subject gets changed very fast. After supper, my parents told me that I should not try to embarrass them with private things that are not my concern. I told them if I ever heard anything about my living arrangements ever again for the rest of my life, I would make sure to keep bringing up the fact that my mom was in her second trimester when they got married. My parents are mad at me for telling them how to behave in their own house, but my fiance is happy that they seem to be off the subject for good. So, am I the asshole?
What do you think?
I mean, I think they started it by critiquing OP's life, and also they were judging his life first, right? Like they were like, all right, don't live together. Like they're being hypocrites. They're being hypocrites. And he didn't even say like, oh, I know you had before marriage. He was just alluding to the fact that they did without being like outright saying it, just almost as like a little bit of a warning, like, hey, you're being a hypocrite. How far do you want me to keep going with this? So I don't think the asshole, but it is, I mean, if he's told them multiple times to be like, hey, I don't want you talking about this, what else is there to do? This seems like he had to go to this point.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. It is very sensitive information in a religious family to bring that up because it's very frowned upon.
What, you mean with the parents?
Yeah, like if
the
parents and stuff. It's like,
yeah, and it's like why you want to put your son down all the time?
Yeah,
I don't think that's a good vibe.
It's not, especially if that's what you did.
Yeah, exactly. The hypocrisy is insane. But I would love to know what you guys think. Put your answers below. Do you think Opie is the asshole for pointing out that his parents were getting frisky before marriage? And I think with that, that's the end. Yeah,
that's the wrap.
That's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed this extra juicy episode. And if you miss John, please say, rest in peace, John. Our prayers go to you. Please come back.
Please come back. I miss you.
And I miss you.
My sister-in-law is upset I didn't thank her for babysitting her own children. Thank me. My 22 female brother, 35 male, surprised me 6 months ago by planning a trip to Scotland for my birthday. Wow. Oh. Nice. He knew I'd never traveled before and wanted to take me to my dream country. Due to tight finances, it was just the two of us, which I was okay with since at the time him and I were close. I sense some foreshadowing, and I also sense this comes from Relevant Artichoke 24. And if you want to put in your stories and give us more, go to r/OKStorytime for more. So for context, my brother is married and has 2 kids under 6. His wife, 34 female, had said she was happy for me and didn't mind holding down the fort for a week while we were on the trip. Her and I had never been close and quite frankly just tolerate each other for the sake of keeping the peace. She's never been a fan of how close my siblings are with each other. It all comes down to growing up in different families, different dynamics, in my opinion. Anyways, the trip was amazing and I loved every second of it. I was on such a high when we came back that I thanked my brother so many times for doing this until he told me to shut up. Lol. I thought everything was good and we resumed our lives normally. Imagine my surprise when I get a text 3 days after coming back from my sister-in-law telling me off and calling me rude and ungrateful because I didn't send her a text thanking her for babysitting her own children and having to do everything around the house for a whole week while I had fun with her husband. Yep, that's how she worded it. Oh, God. I was flabbergasted.
Okay, so I was silent at the beginning because I didn't know what to say. I was confused by the title. Now it makes sense and ew, gross. Hey, nobody asked you to have your kids, all right? I mean, or maybe they did. I don't know. But, like, they're your kids. No one's going to thank you for it.
Mm-hmm.
They belong to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's... Hey, Dakota. I fed my cat today.
Hey.
Why didn't you thank me?
Sorry, I was busy casting your gold medal that I was going to give you.
Oh, not platinum? You...
I'm sorry.
You disgust me.
I'll get back in the hole. I'm sorry.
Get back there.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. That's what this story feels like. So, this is the same woman who smiled and told me to have fun on my trip and who's now berating me for not thanking me, doing a favor, or not thanking her for doing me a favor by taking care of her own kids for a week. Am I crazy or is this totally irrational and just weird? I told her I'm not sure taking care of your own children is babysitting or doing someone else a favor, and she blew up and called me a terrible, ungrateful brat that I never show appreciation for anything. I was so confused by all of this and called my brother, but he doubled down and told me the trip wouldn't have been possible had she not volunteered to take care of the kids so we can have fun and that I should be thanking her for doing it for me. I was and still am confused on why I need to thank a mother for taking care of her own kids. Anyway, to keep the peace, I told her thanks for doing it, but she decided I wasn't being sincere and convinced my brother to go low contact with me. My siblings and my mom were confused by all of this, but kept telling me to just bite my tongue and not stir the pot any further. But I'm just hurt and confused. My relationship with my brother has been strained since, and it's taking a toll on me. I just need to get outside opinions because I'm genuinely confused on whether or not I'm the a-hole in this whole mess. And this is my first time posting. English is my first language, so excuse any errors. We have an edit coming up. But Dakota.
Sorry, that apology did not meet the bar. 100 years jail. No more talking to your brother. 10,000 years jail. What are you talking about? You ask for the apology that you shouldn't be receiving because they're your kids, right?
Yeah.
And then she gives you the apology and you're like, actually, you've made everything worse. Now your brother can't even talk to you. That sounds like something completely outside of this context.
I don't get it. Papa Squaddle, we are now.
So
Riley's really watching us.
Where was I before the nuts derailed me?
We just talked about how insane they are.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang. Those nuts distracted me. I can't.
We do have an edit.
Riley, are you going to come in here and distract all of us?
I could not be feeling Riley's. I can hear it so clearly in my ear. Edit. I can't reply to everyone.
I like this.
Ooh. So let me clear up a few things I should have included. They do not share finances. Oh. And she has never spent any money on anything related to me. Also, last year, she took a trip with her siblings abroad as well. And no, I don't know if her siblings thanked my brother for watching the kids. Finances were tight as my brother was paying for this out of pocket and wouldn't have been able to take anyone else with us. Plus, this trip was a birthday gift, not a family trip, so no one expected to join. I did thank them both when I was first told about the trip, and I asked my brother if he was sure it was okay for us to go, and he assured me we were set and I only needed to have fun. I later learned that she didn't contribute anything to the trip, and she said that she wouldn't have wanted to take a trip with me anyways. Ouch. Hope this clears something up. And then we have the update. Everyone, for the insight on my previous post, This post kind of blew up in the way I wasn't expecting, and the responses were overwhelming, but I now understand that I did not react correctly to her text. This is a long update since a lot has happened. To clear things up, before I continue with the update, a lot of you are fixated on the fact that I said finances were tight. I didn't mean their overall finances. They have separate finances from my understanding. They only share finances when it comes to their household and kids. Anything else they pay for out of their own pockets and don't interfere in what they spend their money on, so long as the kids are good and the household is running smoothly. Since my brother was paying for this trip, he missed it. Since my brother was paying for this trip on his own, he couldn't take many people with him, as that would put a bigger financial burden on his personal savings. They're doing fine financially. They take family trips once a year. I did thank them both. When I was initially told about the trip, my sister-in-law made a single comment about how this was all my brother and she didn't contribute to the trip at all. Last year, sister-in-law and her siblings went on their own trip while my brother took care of everything, and he was fine with it. My family dynamic is apparently confusing you guys, but we're 5 siblings that are very close and that hang out regularly and have a close bond with our mom, especially since our dad passed away. We're from an Asian country, and the culture here and the bonds between families are different from the West. To those who said, maybe she's salty, I'm getting a trip, when I've never helped them out, I babysat my sister-in-law's babies 5 days a week for months.
That's a full-time job.
That's a full-time job. Each time her maternity leave ended, and each time they stopped needing me to help out, only my brother thanks me, and that's fine with me. Sister-in-law has never thanked me or my siblings for anything we do for them. So it's like, hey, you should thank me for watching my own kids, but I don't need to thank you for watching my kids.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
Sounds
That's
like sister-in-law is just trying to isolate the brother, trying to get him away from the family.
That's a great call out.
That's where I was going before the nuts distracted me.
Control.
Yeah, it's that and it's like could have been anything. She just found an opportunity to isolate the brother and took it.
Wow.
Because it's ridiculous. It's nonsense.
It is so stupid. It is. I mean, the one thing I will say is, like, if, two parents are parenting the kids, that is an increase in the work. And that is, if anything, why is brother not thanking her?
Yeah.
That's his wife.
Where's the brother at?
Why not be mad at, hey, why don't you thank me for, me watching the kids all by myself, and then you go off on this Scotland trip? Like, that's the person who should be thanking.
Well, it low-key sounds like the brother doesn't have a backbone or thinks for himself, because he's, after this fiasco has gone lower contact, the relationship is strained.
Are you telling
me
that? So
he couldn't stand up to his wife?
That's his spine? Is that a
pretty much, yeah.
Representation of his
goopy jellyfish
no visual humor.
Spine.
That's
for all our listeners.
I did floppy arm.
John's flopping his arm all over the place because it's a floppy little jellyfish of a spine.
It doesn't work. It's a loose spine, ladies and gentlemen.
And also,
it's water.
For all our listeners, we all look super cool. And you should come check it out.
Dakota has a vendetta against the audio listeners.
No, I don't.
Let them listen.
You may listen forever. I just, come take a look. I don't know.
See? He wants it. She says the fact that we're so eager and willing to drop everything to take care of each other is weird and unhealthy. It's the opposite. I did thank her once. I realized I should keep the peace and tell her what she wanted to hear. Still, she didn't accept my thank you after I made the babysitting your own kids comment. I understand I was the a-hole for saying that now, since a lot of you pointed out that it was rude and that I'm not a mother and don't get it.
What comment? Wait, what?
Okay, so when Opie said, she's like, why don't you thank me for babysitting the kids? She's like, they're your own kids. I mean, why would someone thank you for babysitting them? Apparently, I guess people in the comments were saying that was rude.
I guess
the
only thing I'd see about that is it's less about the kids and more about thanks for giving us the opportunity to have this trip.
Yeah, again, she is taking on an extra load so they can go on. That is true. you know, if she, yeah.
Keon. Don't let me hear that again. Nothing. The people who were listening, the people who are here will know what happened. What Keon did. It's okay. And we have a wheel spin, guys. We did it. Hey, we did it.
We got a wheel spin.
We did it. We got a wheel spin. Look at that.
Don't worry, we're halfway through the story, so we're gonna get to that.
Yes.
Right after.
Let's hit the.
Okay.
We're gonna hit the gas. I'm gonna
We'll
shut
hit
my
the gas.
mouth and we're gonna hit the gas.
So, since a lot of you, but to be fair, her texts were full of insults. She kept doubling down on the fact that she was stuck babysitting because of me. Many of you asked why I wasn't offered the ticket and went on my own. In our culture, women, especially young ones, don't travel on their own without a family member or their husbands. It's not about control, but more out of protection for us. So going on my own wouldn't have been an option. On to the update. Strap in. This is a long one. Oh, God.
I'm strapped.
So I talked with my mom to better understand the situation, since many of you said I am not a mother and don't get it. And she said that my sister-in-law worded it wrong, but maybe she just wanted gratitude for helping my brother out because being a parent isn't easy. That is way more reasonable.
Yeah, but also
Again, to the brother.
these comments, there's a lot of comments coming in that it's not babysitting. They're your kids.
Yeah.
They're yours.
I think she lost it when she said babysitting.
Yeah, that's not what this is.
Like-
That's would you would call it the same thing if your husband was there, just there'd be two babysitters then.
Right?
So
Who do they go to then? Are they like, hey, mom, shouldn't you thank me for watching the grandkids? And like, well, yeah, but it's your children.
Yeah.
But yeah, shouldn't you thank me? I mean, they're your grandchildren.
They write a
Here's your
complaint
logic.
to the Better Business Bureau and they say, we're being overworked. We're babysitters and we literally never get a break.
They have one star parenting business over here for me.
Crazy.
Weeble says it's called parenting, guys.
There we go. Thank you, Weeble Wobble.
Come on. I understand that I reacted to her messages wrong when I could have just said a simple thank you, but neither I or my mom understands why she is so aggressive in me towards me in her texts. The aggression is what made me become so defensive. I found out from my siblings and my mom that my brother only paid for the tickets and the accommodations, and that my eldest brother is the one who provided the pocket money for food and buying stuff on the trip. Yeah, that was a yawn. And that my siblings chipped in, but didn't want the credit since my brother wanted this trip to be like a thank you for helping them out so much with their kids over the years, and that he cleared it with his wife and that she had given him the go-ahead. Wow, a reasonable interaction. Would you look at that?
Look at that. Look at that. Nature is healing.
She also told me that she had asked sister-in-law if she wanted to come with us on the trip and leave their kids with my mom. She literally had the opportunity to go on the trip and not have to watch the kids.
It was right there.
It was literally right there.
It was right there.
Because my mom was fine with that. But what did she do, Dakota? Did she say, yes, you know what, let me take a break, let me go experience this new country? Is that what she said, Dakota?
Nah, she probably was like rude about it somehow.
She declined.
Mm-hmm.
She declined.
Mm-hmm.
As she and I aren't close, and it would have been weird for the both of us.
Oh.
That is, wow.
Oh, yeah, and you definitely haven't made it weird at all. Post-trip. Yeah, nothing has been weird.
Mm-mm-mm. My mom told me that my brother actually asked her to check in every day with sister-in-law to make sure all was well and to see if she needed anything. She also said my brother asked sister-in-law's sister to check in on her as well. It turns out that sister-in-law had taken the week off work. I didn't know that. And 4 out of the 7 days we were in Scotland, she dropped her kids off at my mom's house. And the other 3 days, when my mom called sister-in-law had said that she had her sisters with her and didn't need any help, aka the sisters were watching the kids with her, I guess. So what the heck was she so mad about? It's clear to me that she wasn't abandoned by my brother, as some of you suggested. My siblings initially wanted to just keep the peace, but after I showed them sister-in-law's texts, they were surprised and appalled by her words. They thought this whole thing was a simple misunderstanding and now understand that it had become bigger and that my brother and I aren't talking.
You're misunderstanding. It's not a misunderstanding.
Oh, she was clear. She was clear.
No,
she knew what she
sucks.
said.
She just sucks.
She just sucks. She literally didn't even barely watch the kids. 30%. She was with her mom for 4 of the 7 days.
She doesn't even care, dude. She calls it babysitting. Like bad mom alert. Straight up. Bad mom alert. Beep whoop, beep whoop. That's the bad mom alarm.
Imagine.
It's going off.
Dude. Oh, jeez. My sister decided to investigate and called my brother to understand why it happened. Turns out, my sister-in-law told him that my mom and siblings didn't check in on her at all, which is a lie. My sister even dropped off food for them twice, and that the kids were upset that their dad left them and were probably throwing tantrums all the time. Also, probably not true. And that this wasn't what they had agreed on when he told her about the trip months ago. He was too busy trying to calm my sister-in-law down to confirm with the family whether or not it was even true. My sister then asked him if he'd seen the text his wife had sent me, and he said that he hadn't, but that sister-in-law told him that she asked me for a simple thank you for all her hard work, and that I blew up at her and told her she didn't deserve anything since she didn't pay for the trip and that she was entitled.
Okay.
You know, we did get a recap of the text, and Dakota, did we hear those extra details? No.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
We didn't hear that, chat. But here we are, saying things that are lies. He said he was hesitant about believing that, since he knows I'd outright disrespect someone like that, even if I don't get along with them. But she insisted that it happened, and she has no reason to lie. Show the texts. Just show the text.
The evidence is there.
The evidence, it's literally so easy. It's like, well, I don't think she would text something like that. Read them.
Hey, there it is.
Read the and OP like send them. Like, come on. But she insisted that it happened and that she had no reason to lie. And as her husband, she needed to support not his questioning. And that's why he sent me the text saying that I needed to thank her. So I'm just blindly supporting the wife. My sister then let my brother know about everything that happened and told him, much more like demanded, that they apologize to me, which I didn't think was necessary. I just wanted my brother to talk to me again, but he sounded upset and told her he'll figure this out after talking with his wife. We have a new section titled, Spoiler Alert, It Didn't Go Well.
Ah, good.
You don't say.
So I'm going to guess it doesn't go well. My sister-in-law is upset I didn't thank her for babysitting her own children. We have a new section titled, Spoiler Alert, It Didn't Go Well.
Ah, good.
You don't say.
So I'm going to guess it doesn't go well. Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
Divorce or not? Let's pull it. Divorce or not? I'm going straight for the jugular.
Well,
What do
the
we got?
problem
Talk to
is
me.
that I don't think that OP's brother is able to do the divorce unless the wife tells him it's okay. The sounds
Doesn't
of
have
it.
permission.
Wife is gonna have to greenlight that divorce, and
Think how often he'll have to thank her for watching the kids during her custody time. Dude, this is going to be so many thank yous. 50% of his life, he'll be thanking her.
dang, like the craziest thing would be like if it was weird. The craziest thing would be like if these aren't her kids, but like,
Wait.
how would that make any sense? You know what I mean? Like,
Dude, I love this as an absolute Hail Mary conspiracy theory. Somehow the woman who birthed them, they're not her kids.
like it's all.
She when she went into labor, it was just a hallucination.
She
Each
did
time.
she did a Raising Arizona, and she took the kids for the tax credits, and now she's like, oh, I'm so sick of this. I didn't realize that there'd be strings attached to these tax credits,
Or-
namely that I have to take care of them.
What if the husband had affair babies, hires a hypnotist to think that she gave birth? She's hypnotized during the entire delivery.
Hey. Come back to reality.
All right.
And then they're not hers.
Okay. Yeah.
Come on.
We're gonna see.
Not
Maybe-
her kids.
Maybe
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
right, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Are me and Dakota right? Let us know. By the way, before getting into it, 93% says divorce. Chat. 93% of chat said divorce. Wow. Well, spoiler alert, didn't go well. My sister-in-law. The yawns. The yawns. Sister-in-law and my brother had a massive fight, and he demanded to know why she lied and caused so much drama. And she broke down and told him that he was too close to me and my siblings, and that she hated how my whole family babied me. I'm the youngest, and that his siblings' relationship with each other made her uncomfortable, and she just wanted him to put a little distance between himself and us because her family isn't as close to each other, and kept telling her that our close dynamic is weird and toxic. You're weird and toxic.
Yeah, straight up. Couldn't have said it any better myself.
He told her he told her that her behavior is unacceptable and that she caused a rift between not only him and I, but also with the rest of his siblings as well, because now they're mad at him. My brother did call me and he apologized for doubling down on what his wife said. He said it was already tense in their house and he was just trying to keep the peace, God, and be supportive, but he shouldn't have treated me this way when deep down he knew I wasn't at fault. He also let me know that for the time being, sister-in-law will go no contact with my siblings and I while they go to marriage counseling, and sister-in-law goes to therapy because her behavior wasn't normal. He sounded exhausted and defeated, and I just told him we're all here for him if he needs us. He's made it clear that the no contact is only for sister-in-law, and he assured me that he won't limit his contact with me and apologized for doing so without even talking to me first. I asked him if he'd like me to reach out to her and apologize for what I said and give her a sincere thank you, but he said no. Yeah, I feel like that would just make her go, just transform.
She
Absolutely mutate into the Hulk.
She would become Megatron.
You
become
dare.
the leader of the Decepticons.
You dare give me the fakest apology the world has ever seen at this time?
It's crazy. This lady is not someone you want to be married to.
That is so true. Oh my God.
Does Facebook need a TLDR? Okay, here's the TLDR, Facebook. OP's sister-in-law is a kind of a demon who's trying to isolate her husband, OP's brother, from the rest of his family, and she's now called the fact that the siblings are all close and friends with each other toxic and weird, which is, I am rubber, you are glue. What you say bounces off of me, sticks to you, because she is toxic and weird.
Yeah.
And that is it.
That's point blank the end. That's all she wrote.
Riley, you owe everyone in the room $5.
$5. $5. I completely agree. But do we want to see how this ends with this monster?
I do.
I asked him if he'd like me to reach out to her, apologize for what I said.
Hold on, John. Let me turn off this damn.
Yeah.
Why
let's
is
do it. It ran into the
Jesus.
pokey thing and.
The one who's not even sitting here has more ADHD than all of us combined.
Oh boy. So, brother said that it was never about gratitude to begin with, that it's actually a bigger issue between them that they need to figure out on their own, that we shouldn't contact sister-in-law unless she reaches out first, as she doesn't want to have any contact with us. Low key is true, and she's crazy. Why would you want to talk to her anyways?
100%.
He apologized for her language with me on the text, but I told him not to worry about it. Safe to say that sister-in-law's relationship with us is never going to be the same again after this. And to be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of hers, but I was civil and polite to her in the past because my brother loves her and we've never had any issues prior to this. I do feel really guilty that all of this happened because of the trip planned for me, but my siblings keep telling me it's not my fault, which it isn't. My mom says that I should have just thanked my sister-in-law and kept the peace instead of having this all blow up so much. But my siblings told her that even if I had apologized, it would have made it wouldn't have mattered, as my sister-in-law would have found something else to cause a problem. But they also told me what a lot of you had mentioned in the comments, that saying thank you was the polite thing to do, and that taking care of kids full-time is not the same as babysitting them for a few hours, and it would have been good to tell her that she's appreciated. But they understand that I don't have the understanding of what it means to be a parent, and that having someone basically verbally attack me wouldn't have made me reciprocate with kindness. Exactly. And I get it. I was ignorant about it, and I acknowledge that. I think people are being way too harsh about OP in the comments about that.
Yeah, it's true. It's a little thing. That's a small thing where it's like, she literally had the opportunity to not do it. She said no, and then it's like, you went on this trip, and then she was like, where's my freaking gold medal? It's like, no, it's like, okay, you can go and be like, hey, thanks for shouldering the kids for what, a weekend?
A week.
A whole week? Okay.
Grandma had him for 4 days, and the sisters were over for the 3 days.
Yeah, and then it wasn't even that much. So it's like, get over yourself.
You did like 10% kid watching.
No, Riley, you
10%.
can't escape. You're getting paddled. Everyone in the chat is yelling that you deserve to be paddled. By the way, guys, that balloon wasn't even next to the mic. It was like in the hallway. That's how loud that balloon was.
Yeah.
No, what are you doing? He's running away. Get paddled.
Give
Get
us
over here.
those cheeks.
Yes.
There we go. That is something we'll accept. We will accept that. Now, there's a lot more details, but the gist of it, brother-in-law and sister-in-law's marriage is strained right now. The whole world is falling apart.
And the screw just fell out of the chair Keon sitting in.
And so
I'm
is his
really
relationship.
scared, guys. Maybe it's the ghost.
We gotta
I don't
get a new
know.
chair. But I hope everything works out okay. I really love my partner and hate seeing him so defeated. Part of me wishes we never went on that trip because all this drama is so draining. And to clarify something, the only reason I was questioning the whole I babysit my kids as a favor to you is because I always see people criticizing fathers and calling them out because kids are the parents' responsibility and not a chore or a favor for anyone. I thought this applied to both mothers and fathers, but perhaps I was mistaken because my only point of reference on this topic is what I see on the internet, as I'm not a mom. And since a lot of you have said that I'm an a-hole and that she deserved a thank you and a gift, by the way, you'll never be an a-hole because you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this.
That's right.
Go to Spotify, search OK Story Time, and check it out. We're going to finish the story.
Finish the story first.
I messed up the thank you part, but I did buy her a magnet for the fridge since she likes to collect them. I went a little crazy and brought back little souvenirs for myself and everyone else as well. And it would have been weird and rude with her kids. And it would have been weird and rude to give her kids gifts and not her. So I got every single family member a small Scottish themed present. I was excited about being in Scotland. Lol. Thank you all for your insights and advice. I really appreciate it, whether you thought I was or wasn't the a-hole. All your opinions put things into perspective for me. Some comments were outright nasty, though, and I didn't think name calling was productive or necessary. But oh well, that's the internet.
Hey, ain't that the truth?
Ain't
that the truth?
The truth.
My fiance ignored her son's birthday wishes, so I spoke up for him.
Mama, what you doing? We love that.
My fiance, 29 female, and I, 28 male, have been together for 2 years. For the most part, things are really good. She has a son, 8 male, from a previous relationship, and the dad isn't involved. Together, we're our own little family unit. By the way, this comes from user Doghouse Rock on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, the issue is over the son's recent birthday party. He's having trouble in school and has been made a target. My fiance and I have both talked to the school. They gave the same lip service. I suggested changing schools, but my fiance says no schools is perfect. The son wanted a small birthday party, nothing major. He just wanted to spend the day with us at a park. My fiance instead made him invite his entire class and planned a big day. Not a single child came.
Never mind.
It was just us with trays of food and a bunch of birthday decorations. Waiting was the worst part. No, Mom, you set him up for failure. No.
Sad.
He's had some rough days, but I've never seen him so down. He was humiliated. It bothered me, and I felt something needed to be said. My fiance and I had a talk that night, and I stated that I thought we should have listened to what the son actually wanted instead of pushing a big party. She believed that I should be supporting her and said it's not my place to interfere with matters involving her son. There was an emphasis on quote unquote her son. Our talk turned into a big argument. Her comment was a blow. I realized I'm not the bio dad, but I'm the constant male figure in his life. We've grown close. I'm the one who has those serious talks with him. I'm someone he asks for advice, who drops him off at school and picks him up. I help him with homework. I engage in his interests. I show up on outings, etc. I might not be his bio dad, but I don't treat him like some uninvolved bystander. My fiance was always popular in school. She doesn't relate to him. I know what it's like to be unwanted in a room. I know what it's like to hate being in the school hall. My fiance just believes he needs to try harder to assert himself. There's still some tension between my fiance and myself. Thanksgiving was awkward, which is ironic since it's supposed to be about thankfulness. The son also started to notice the rift and asked about it. Oh, that is a very, emotionally intelligent 8-year-old.
I was gonna say this 8-year-old definitely knows how to
I
communicate.
mean, maybe not intelligent, but aware.
No, yeah, this 8-year-old knows how to communicate some stuff, which is very mature.
Which is probably why all of the other 8-year-olds in his class don't like him, because he's understands how to be emotionally mature and they're all just a bunch of 8-year-olds. My fiance feels I overstepped. I feel differently. Am I the a-hole? No. Top comment. Not the a-hole. Your fiance completely overlooked what her son wanted and made it worse for him. That poor child, his heart must have broken so much when no one showed up. What was she thinking? She knew what he was going through and still went ahead with her wishes. I don't care if she was popular in school. Her son is different, and she needs to realize that before she pushes more of her moronic ideas on him. And I hate the fact that she used the quote-unquote her son card. What are you then? I'm sorry, but she's completely unreasonable. If you do not get to have any opinions about her son, then why is she okay with you being a father figure to him? My opinion is that she realized she effed up, and now she's trying to save face, and that sucks because she's proving to be quite immature. She should have accepted the fact that she was in the wrong instead of challenging your position in the boy's life. Poor boy, I feel so bad for him. Another comment says, not the a-hole. By inviting the class, I hope she's aware that she just opened her son up to more ridicule and tormenting. Everyone will know that nobody came. I don't know what she's thinking. You have every right to speak up for him, and she should be thankful that you want to. Yes, this very well may be because she was popular and her son isn't, and she doesn't ask. Well, I feel like this is also one of might be coming from a good place. But
She tried, but it wasn't the right thing to do. If your child voiced what they wanted for their freaking birthday and that's what they wanted, you got to respect their birthday wishes and not change it up.
Especially if it sounds like this kid is relatively, emotionally mature enough to notice a rift between partners. When I was 8, I wasn't noticing a rift between anybody.
But also, the son also realized, no, I don't want to invite anyone. No, he didn't bring up anyone.
I don't think anyone likes him.
He doesn't like it.
And he doesn't like them either.
Yeah. And
because they don't like him.
No.
And you can't just strong arm your kid into becoming like an idealized version of him that you have in your head that relates to your experience when you were a child.
That's why I sided with OP, where it's maybe we should just switch schools, start fresh.
Could be a good idea.
And the mom didn't want to do that.
Yeah. Reply from OP says that she talks about how she had the big birthday parties and how her house was the house and all this stuff her and her friends did. I try to get her to see that his perspective is different from hers. The parties and stuff are what she wanted. It's not what he wants. Dropping him off at school that day knowing he was now going to have to face those kids after getting ghosted was particularly rough. I don't think she relates to the struggle and feels if he tries harder, everything will just simply click into place. I don't think he needs to try any harder. He's a good kid and considers others. And we do have an update. Hopefully it involves him changing schools like the dad suggested.
Or maybe a friend. I don't know. I hope so.
Thanks everyone for the input. The outside perspectives helped me, male 28, tackle this situation with my fiance, 29 female. Things were still rocky between us. We've had fights, but we're usually able to communicate. This issue was different. We both felt strongly about our stances with her son, 8 male. The son noticed the rift and took it as we were disappointed in him after the birthday party.
No.
Wow. No. Hey, great job though talking to him and not letting that go unchecked.
Yeah.
I reassured him that nothing was his fault. My fiance usually leaves these kinds of talks to me because she says that I'm better with the emotional stuff. Yeah, it sounds like it. I wasn't sorry for speaking up. He was humiliated and it happened because of him being forced into a party he never wanted. My fiance and I arranged to talk while he was at school. She felt we needed to hash things out too. It was my hope that we could work towards a solution. We both started off apologizing for contributing to the fight and letting it drag out. I told her that I was hurt by how dismissive she was of me and how I needed to keep out of issues with the son. She's never pulled that card before. She wanted me to have a presence with him. She said that she spoke out of anger and didn't mean any of it. She felt judged and took everything she was holding in out on me. I expressed that her son needs an advocate and he sometimes struggles speaking up because he wants her approval. This was something we discussed before. She admits pushing a party was wrong. She said that she loves the role I take with her son, but feels that he and I connect in a way that they don't, and that's hard for her, which I guess is true, but it's not like this is your partner.
Yeah.
You should be wanting that.
You should support that. You're like, oh, they're dad and son.
OP's fiance, just take notes. Don't get jealous.
Yeah.
Learn.
You should support that.
I tried reassuring her that she's his mom and no other bond could possibly negate that. She's one of the only people he wanted to spend his day with in the first place. I'm here to support both of them, but that doesn't mean agreeing with her on everything. I feel chasing popularity will only be trouble as he gets older. Something that was recommended on here was therapy. I thought it would be good for us. She wasn't entirely closed to the idea, but she is hesitant about the notion of therapy. The son will be changing schools.
Let's go.
Good idea.
That's all we needed. That's the refresher we needed. Good.
Sounds like it would be good. And 8 is an age where it's like, yeah, you can do this. Given everything that we know, it's a good idea.
That's a good palate cleanser. There we go. Good.
We're also looking into clubs for him. He has a talent for drawing. I'm honestly impressed every time. I'm encouraging my fiance to embrace his creative side.
Oh, I love OP.
Let's go.
OP is such a good
WOP.
He's a real father figure.
Everybody, I'm taking notes.
Yeah.
I believe my fiance means well and wants the best for the son, but I feel she has to be more receptive of what he's telling her. He may never be popular. Most kids aren't. It doesn't mean he's doing something wrong. And by the way, I'd never say you're doing something wrong. If you joined us every weekday at 3 p.m. PST, when we go live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch, all you got to do is tap our profile and you're in.
Ding, ding, ding. Easy.
But before you go check if we're live, we're going to finish this story. I think we've consolidated our thoughts pretty well so far.
Honestly, I'm not even saying that. OP's doing all the speaking for us. He's literally just like nailing the hammer on the head every single time. It's like, oh, he's got to does it. He's voicing what needs to be voiced. And I appreciate it. He's like, therapy? Yeah, we'll do therapy. We can try it. I support my son. It's not even his son, but I support my son in what he wants. And I need to voice my opinion because I'm an adult here.
Hopefully he'll become the full-fledged stepdad, and then the son will even further take after
which is
him.
Maybe it's so hard. It's because the mom has never seen that. Maybe that father figure or that fatherhood with her son. Maybe it's just strange and different for her that she doesn't understand it and how to deal with it because it's only been her and the son.
She seems like someone who might have a pretty narrow-minded perspective in terms of like being able to get out of her own head, because I don't think she's doing it maliciously, but it's like she's probably just thinking, oh, well, this will make him better. But you need to be able to just accept who your son is.
Your child, and nonetheless.
And he's still 8, so he's not fully formed. Kids and people in general can be cruel. I even told her if she and I had gone to school together, her friends probably would have made fun of me. The son's experience is his. He'll come into his own. Overall, we did better talking instead of going at each other, which is better for everyone involved. I'm still going to speak up for the son. When I was his age, there were times when I wished someone would speak up for me. Thanks again for everyone for the support. I really appreciate it. And that is the end of that story.
Again, like I said, the OP hammering it on the head every single time.
Yep.
We don't even like
batting 1,000 OP. Great job. But that's the end of that story. Now we're going to move on to the next one.
See you in the next one.
My birthday was never celebrated properly, even by my husband.
Oh, you know what? OP, we'll sing happy birthday to you real quick. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to OP. Happy birthday to you. See? Wow.
My husband and his family make a big deal out of birthdays, and being a December baby, my birthday is a nuisance and an inconvenience. They do these quote-unquote birthday wishes, which is basically where anything you want is a yes. I hate it because it feels like a guilt trip to the receiver. By the way, this comes from user 420DS Wedding on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, growing up, I was always gifted money from my immediate family, with the idea behind it being, look, you have birthday money. You can get Christmas gifts for other people. I have very few early childhood memories, but one I remember was getting $10 for my 10th birthday, going to the store to buy my father handkerchiefs and socks for Christmas. The total was $10.10. I was told I had to work off the 10 cents later, and I paid for my purchase with the $10 bill, with Feliz Cumpleaños Mija written on it. The cashier started a conversation with me asking if this was my birthday money and why I was spending it on something obviously not for me. And I told her that my birthday wasn't as important as Christmas, and that's when my Nana started yelling at her in Spanish. The woman kept pointing at me, pointing at the toy section in the candy area at the checkout, and then back at the socks. I could never understand my Nana when she spoke Spanish fast, but I gathered that the cashier was telling her that a child should spend her birthday money on herself. Fast forward to 2024 and turning 44 years old, and I don't even want to try anymore. My husband's heart is in the right place, but his actions just don't match. All week, he kept talking about my birthday weekend and how we are going to celebrate me or do things I wanted to do all weekend. But apparently, I had to plan it all. All of it. He had no plans for the weekend at all. Saturday morning, we went to a bar where our friend is the head chef and ended up costing $50 for 2 coffees and each of our meals. I saved $100 for myself for my birthday, and the husband saved nothing. Okay, no big deal. We've still got the day to ourselves. The next place we end up going is the disc golf shop he's been wanting to go to for a while. Everyone watching, take notes.
Easy.
This is not how you do this. This is not how this works. I don't play disc golf, by the way. We don't buy him anything because we spent $50 on breakfast. Otherwise, he would have wanted to drop $40 on a disc. Where to next? He wants to hit a GameStop or another used shop. At the game store, he basically tells me I'm buying myself a new controller for my Switch because the Pro controller I use is 4 years old and experiencing stick drift. I don't want to spend money on a new controller because I can just use the Joy-Con ones, but he's angry and insisted I get a new one. He'd be more willing to play games with me on my Switch if he could use a Pro controller too. Again, I didn't want to spend money on it, but he insisted I had to get myself something for my birthday.
Okay, we all know about that stick drift though.
Clearly, OP doesn't even care about play.
I'm joking. The husband should just buy it himself.
No, but we do know about the stick drift.
We know
though.
all about the
We
stick
do
drift.
know about the stick drift.
If you know about the stick drift, you know.
Stop taking her to places that you like on her birthday to spend her money. What is wrong with you?
It's so easy to not do that.
We are now sitting with $20 left for my birthday weekend, and the one thing I want to do is have dim sum for Sunday brunch.
Nice.
Which we can now no longer afford.
Not nice.
He offers to stop and get an iced coffee, which I say no to because it's $7. He suggests getting a pre-roll at the dispensary.
How old is this guy?
Are you dating a grown man, or is this secretly a 18-year-old in disguise?
He's a 21-year-old. It sounds like a 21-year-old. It sounds like just like a college, like your stereotypical college junior. All right, disc golf time. Time to go to GameStop, and then let's go get a pre-roll.
Disc golf, GameStop, and pre-rolls, a.k.a. my college memoir, a.k.a. I'm 22.
Next thing is to be like, babe, let's go get some beers.
And I say, if that's what you want, then we can get one because it's not what I want. We have lots of stuff at home from work freebies. I tried to explain to him that we only had $100 for my birthday and we don't get food stamps for 9 days. So maybe we should just get a couple of loaves of bread for lunch during this week and go home. I asked him about it if he had any thoughts for dinner, and he said, it's your birthday. What do you want to make? Nothing. We had nothing for dinner.
What do you want to make for your birthday dinner? Brother, what are you doing?
This is a tutorial on how not to be.
This is a tutorial of like following the steps of being the worst partner in the history.
How to not be. A guide by OP's husband, fiance. Are they even dating? Is this a child you have to take care of?
I was gonna say OP's.
What's going on?
OP's college roommate.
Today is my actual birthday, and I was denied 3 birthday wishes before 6 a.m. I'm always the person on dog duty because I'm the lightest sleeper, and I'm more aware when the dogs are signaling they need to go outside. Shortly after midnight, they wanted to go out. I had already been in bed for 90 plus minutes, and my husband just decided to go to bed, which woke up the dogs in the first place. And they were whining and signaling they needed to go out. When they made noise and he ignored them, I asked, so I can start using my wishes now? He got upset and grumbled about needing to find a shirt, so I got it out of bed and did it. He was asleep by the time I got them back inside. Around 3 a.m., there was a noise outside, and I asked again if he'd handle looking at it or taking the dogs out, and asked to use one of my 44 wishes, and he grumbled. At the same time, the dogs went crazy, so I took them out. Just after 6 o'clock, the dogs started to signal to go out, which is normal wake-up time, and I said from under the covers, can I please at least try to sleep in on my birthday? and he totally lost his crap. He huffs and puffs and gets out of bed and takes the dogs out, slamming all the doors as he goes. And when he comes back inside, he says, well, I'm effing awake now, so sleep in, and leaves the bedroom. I'm breaking up with this guy.
Follow these steps if you just want to lose your partner.
I'm breaking up with this guy that day. The fundamental lack of respect there is so vast that I refuse to participate in that relationship if I'm OP.
I haven't heard anything positive from this partner one bit. Not one positive thing.
I tried to get up to offer to make him coffee, but he tells me to go back to bed. Then I reminded him that we don't have sugar for the coffee, and he told me not to worry about it, and he was going to go to the store. For like 0.01 seconds, I thought maybe he'd come home with something for me from the store. But all he did was get a coffee at the gas station and a honey bun for himself.
Again, follow these steps if you just want to lose your partner.
But you know what's even better than bad gas station coffee and a honey bun that will clog your arteries?
That sounds pretty good.
Joining our live stream every weekday at 3 p.m. PST when we go live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. All you got to do is tap on our profile and you're in the live. But we do have a little bit more story here. I think we've made it perfectly clear who's at fault here.
Oh, 1 trillion
thing, though, I want to maybe throw out there as a theory. OP mentioned being on food stamps. I wonder if this relationship has slipped into the realm of sort of financial codependence, where they both are living in a situation where without each other's income supporting each other, they would be like really in a bad spot.
I don't know. I don't know. But this is just not somebody I want to be with remotely.
Exactly.
This is a one day, and this is OP's special day. Can you imagine just a normal day in the life?
God, I mean, it's probably the exact same.
Probably worse.
And this is why OP does everything, because if OP asks her husband to take the dog out, he goes, oh, fine, I don't even have a shirt on, blah, blah, blah. And if she wants to go do something for her own birthday, he's still like, let's go to GameStop, let's go to the disc golf store.
It's your birthday? It's your birthday money? You have $100? Let's spend it on stuff I want.
I also have a conspiracy theory that OP's not 44.
I don't know.
Sometimes we get people that like anonymize their ages, and I just feel like, well, maybe OP's 44 and their partner's like way younger. Who knows? We don't know the partner's age.
We don't want to assume or jump to that conclusion.
Yeah, so maybe let's not.
But it does sound like OP is just dating 20-year-old.
Yeah. If this is a grown man, this is a man-child, just like the dictionary definition of a man-child. So to finish the story, I don't keep seeing the point in trying to celebrate me on my birthday. I haven't even mentioned a cake or candles or even a gift I didn't have to pick and pay for myself, because what's the point? Would I be the a-hole if I just told him not to worry about my birthday anymore? My mom passed when I was 31, and she was the only one who ever seemed to care about it. I don't know. I just feel like an a-hole because I've never seen a reason to feel like my birthday is important.
Stop that. Stop that. I don't like that idea right there. No. You deserve to be celebrated. It is your birthday.
You know, I heard recently that is actually a trauma response.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because I didn't want anything to do with my birthday for a long time.
I'm also one of those people who I personally don't like my birthday.
Yeah. I've had a lot of bad things happen to me on my birthday. So it's just turned into I avoid my birthday, but I'm coming out of it now. But OP, you're worth every single day. Is worth celebrating with you around.
Yeah.
And especially the day you were shot like a cannonball out of your mother. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, OP, your birthday is worth it. You're worth it. You're better than this guy. And like I said, if there is financial circumstances notwithstanding a way for you to get out now, do it. And if the finances are what are preventing you, it is time to you got to grind. You need to get out from under this guy is nothing but a dead weight to you.
You are not the a-hole. You need to voice. You deserve to be celebrated. It's your day. You deserve so much more. At least a cake, or at least some love, at least something. This guy, I haven't seen one positive thing from this partner of yours.
No.
That's the one thing that sticks out to me. Even if it's your birthday or it's the holidays, he hasn't done a single thing for you.
He's just stinky trash. We're going to put him in a big trebuchet and fling him into the sun. And then he won't be a problem for anyone anymore, except for the sun. That is the end of that story.
We have another one for you, though.
We have another one coming right up.
I disapprove of my mother's toxic relationship, but she won't listen to me.
Oh, mama, just dump that guy. Okay.
I don't know if this should be posted elsewhere, as I don't know if this really works for the relationship or Am I the A-hole subreddits. But I have seen the community offer great help and advice to others. I'm sorry if this is long. I, mid-20s female, live with my mother, mid-50s, due to being on the autistic spectrum and other medical issues. That doesn't make it very safe for me to live on my own. By the way, this comes from user I don't know anymore, Am I the A-hole, on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I had moved across the country with her due to getting a job promotion. We have no family back where we came from, and I wanted to try restarting my life by my mother's side and start fresh. I have a decent job that pays enough to pay my share of rent, and I buy my own essentials and contribute to groceries. I do not drive, again, due to medical reasons, and the area I live in is very vast and distant from one place to another. So I depend on others and provide gas money. Driving apps do not work with my area for some reason. My mother and I have polar opposite personalities. She's extroverted and is an adult who deserves to go out and have fun after being a dedicated mother for so long. She is divorced from my bio father, who we are no contact with, and with him being abusive. I am more introverted. I do not really find joy in going out to clubs or parties, rather would like to spend my time alone with a book or something quiet. We used to spend weekends doing stuff together, such as going on hikes, baking/cooking together, movies, museums, festivals, etc. She makes time for herself to do what she likes as well, going to busy bars and parties, going out to spas and self-care trips with her friends or coworkers. And I do find being able to take care of myself for a few days with being able to call her for any emergencies at any time. Last year, she met Bob, he's in his 40s or 50s, at a bar. Mom had gone on some dates before that were flunks or produced no sparks. She claims herself to be a very independent, strong, take no crap woman who doesn't need to be in a relationship at this point. But she gave Bob a chance and immediately became smitten by the amount of attention she was given by Bob. From the start, he seemed alright from what she told me. He compliments her and treated her right, takes her out to places, and showed her around the area we recently moved to. I'd only met him a couple of times when he would pick her up, and we would exchange pleasantries and small conversation, but that was about it. At some point, it became apparent that he had some problems when it came to what was expected of a woman to do for her man in a relationship. Their first big fight happened over something that I can't recall. This was within the first few weeks they started casually going out, but he was upset about something and she offered advice and he just exploded. I don't remember the specifics of the fight, but my mother pretty much went on the mindset that this guy was a big heck no, going on a spiel about how I need to make sure I don't find a man like him. She ignored him for a week of his constant calls and texts begging for her back and another chance, which we both agreed was a red flag when he persisted when she told him no, before telling me she was going to break it off with him while everything was still fresh. Well, as you can tell by the title, this didn't happen. After 3 months of dating and my mother constantly having him stay overnight without asking if I was comfortable, she came to me and essentially said that Bob was going to stay with us while he was in between apartments. She phrased it like she was asking what I thought of the idea. I already had a gut feeling of where it was going and told her that it wasn't something I was comfortable with, but would be fine if it was 2 weeks as she said. She agreed and promised, as they were still not entirely committed and wanted at least to help him out. I remained polite and tolerant of him whenever we crossed paths, would have some conversations with him about whatever I was reading or was on the TV, but I otherwise stayed in my room while they spent time together in the communal areas and went out. 2 weeks came and went, so did a couple months, until she took me out of our planned bonding time. That took a while to happen because other plans would come up between them, and said that she and Bob had came to an agreement to try living together.
Oh no, she was soft launching.
She honey badgered you.
Oh no, she soft launched her live-in boyfriend with you. No.
She was like, we got to see how this goes for 2 weeks, and you didn't say anything. Excuses of getting the apartment falling through came up. How they wanted to try living together as a couple, but they wanted my input before proceeding. I essentially told her that I wasn't comfortable and that she promised that this was a temporary thing. She didn't really respond to that. Instead, mentioned how, well, what would happen if we eventually wanted to move in together? What about you? I want you and I to stay together as we planned, maybe with a basement where you could live separately from us. I want to try to make this work. I wasn't expecting this to really happen. The thing to mention why I was not so inclined, they would have a week of lovey-dovey bliss, and then bam, an all-out nuclear showdown of screaming, door slamming, cussing, and tension that you couldn't even cut with a steak knife. What was once my comfort space of home became the place where I would lock myself in my room and only come out to grab myself a quick meal and run back. Whenever my mom would vent to me about it all, I would often give comfort and my only advice of, this sounds a lot of like what it was like with my dad, and you should know that you don't deserve this and you don't need to settle with him. She would seem to sigh and agree with me and thank me for being honest and being here for her. Then they go back to lovey-dovey, rinse and repeat, with the kisses and the flirts to 3 a.m. door slams and screaming matches. I had gotten to the point of just keeping my distance from Bob. I would remain polite, but not really engage with him. He once tried to vent to me about my mom being effing insane during one of their fights and wouldn't let me leave until I physically left the room and shut the door. My mom confronts me and tells me I was being childish and rude for no reason. And I told her that I wasn't comfortable at this point. I wasn't comfortable with him living with us. I wasn't comfortable seeing her constantly cater to him in every way like a maid. Laundry, making and serving him meals. It's only her and I cleaning the household while he's out somewhere else with buddies or bars. How I don't feel comfortable in what was supposed to be my home, and the only place I feel remotely safe is my own bedroom. Within the years of him staying with us, she has called the cops on him twice. Has been in 7 big screaming matches that wake me up in the middle of the night, and I'm very tired of it. She asked what would make me feel better. If we went out to dinners or movies so I can feel like a child or a third wheel. How he wants my acceptance and approval. I tell her nothing, and that I have given him chances at my own pace, and that he has ruined those chances with how he handles himself in situations in general, and I honestly don't think I will be ever comfortable around him. I tell her that I wish that she treated me like an adult that she tells me to be, and took, in my opinion, in concerns when I said I didn't want him moving in with us. But I feel like I'm falling on deaf ears at this point. She tells me relationships take work, and I wouldn't understand as I've never had a relationship. She tells me that being the way I am to him is evident that I will be very lonely. They continue to fight. It's gone to the point where he pins my mom to the ground or wall and refuses to get off her while she yells at him to get off. And I come out and yell at him to get the F off. And my mom tells me she's sick of it all. Then they're all affectionate and calling each other babe like nothing happened. This is not good. This makes no sense.
Why?
If this is what it is, but OP can't be. I was gonna say OP leave, but OP can not really like.
OP can't. It's already set the stage that it's not a good idea for OP to live by themselves. It's this. This just sounds like the cycle of abuse.
Again, like you said, it keeps rinsing, repeating, and recycling itself over and over again, where it's just getting more and more extreme.
And then it always goes, and then it goes back to lovey-dovey, and everything's perfect. And that's like one of the hallmarks of the cycle.
I would be baffled. I'm like,
is that it all goes back to literal like it's a fairy tale, and we're in love, and everything's perfect. And then it's just like bad. Oh wait, but it's good again for just a little bit, and then it's bad. She
doesn't explain to me how it's fixed and everything is fine. Mom and I no longer really do anything together. She'll ask about my day at work and stuff, but I otherwise just go to my room so she can continue to do her own thing and then go be with Bob. I've spoken to my therapist about this. I've spoken to my friends back home about this, and they all tell me I'm valid in my feelings and my mom is in the wrong and in a toxic relationship. I feel awful telling others about what's been happening and how I feel because it doesn't give my mom the chance to defend herself. But I'm at the point where I don't care. I have tried everything under the sun to tell her my feelings from suggestions of my therapist, and she either gets mad or brushes it off. But you know what you can't brush off? Never brush us off.
Yeah, never brush us off or we'll get mad.
Yeah, we'll get very upset because we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. We go live on Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube. Just tap our profile.
Mom needs help, clearly. Mom is stuck in the cycle of abuse, and it is really, really difficult to get someone out of that without them wanting to be a proactive part of it.
Or wanting to listen. Just like it seems like mom just like, okay, one ear out the other.
Right. It's like they either have to deflect it or they have to get mad about it and delegitimize it, because then their whole worldview falls apart.
While I feel validated to a point, I feel like an absolute a-hole towards my own mother. Both for her telling me I don't understand and secretly confiding in others about their relationship problems when it has nothing to do with me at the end of the day. I want her to be happy and have the companionship she desires that isn't just from me or friends. But I absolutely despise this man and their relationship. I am supposed to be an adult about this, but am I really just being childish overall? Am I the a-hole? No. And the fact that, and I hate that that's what you're thinking. You already talked the relationship to your mom at least, and I feel like you're scared to tell this to Bob because one, you guys have no connection, and two, I feel like Bob's gonna be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, Bob doesn't seem to be a guy who handles being pressed on the issue. No. He doesn't take that very well.
So the fact that you already went to the main source, one, to your therapist, and two, to your mother, your very own mother, and your very own mother is not listening to you, you gotta have to tell other people, and you're like, am I crazy? Like, this is bad, right? And they're like, yes, this is bad. They have outside views. Get out of it. But OP, not the a-hole.
Definitely.
Get out of that situation as soon as possible because you don't deserve that. And try to get your mom, hopefully, but at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for yourself.
Honestly, I wish you and your mom the best. The only one who's the real a-hole there is Bob. But that is the end of that story. My wife has been controlling in our marriage Now I feel burned out.
Burning out for you, baby.
Hi, all. Changing some details to provide anonymity, of course. I, 27 male, and my wife, 28 female, have been married for 6 years now and together for 9 years. We met at work when we were both teens and started dating. They were my first real girlfriend, so I had my first everything with them. To this day, she is still the only woman that I have ever had the spicy sleep with, and the only other kiss with a girl I had was when I was like 12, and it almost doesn't count to me because it was basically a kiss just to kiss someone. By the way, this comes from user throwawayduh8883 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, early in the relationship, she had stated that she wasn't going to college and had no plans to, while I had plans to move multiple states away for college and decided to go to a more local college to be able to stay with her. We ended up getting a rental near the college together about a year into dating. After this point is where things honestly seem to get messy. Not going to the college you wanted to go to move in with your high school girlfriend is definitely going to get messy. I'm just putting that out.
It's one of those things you live and learn with.
One day while I was at home, my girlfriend asked me to get her phone for her, and I noticed a Tinder notification on it. I confronted her about it and honestly wasn't even angry at the time, but more disappointed. She was talking to a guy on there about music and other things that weren't bad on their own, but it was still on Tinder. She said she heard about the app from a friend and was told it was a place for her to find new friends. She was homeschooled and says that she didn't know what it was and then promptly deleted it when I explained it's a hookup app. I decided to forgive her and move on. One day I was at home when my girlfriend went through my Snapchat and saw that I was texting an old female friend from high school on it, and I had said that my girlfriend was being a bit of a bee to them. Understandably, my girlfriend was upset that I was speaking about her like that to another woman. Looking back, that was honestly childish of me, but I was also 18 at the time, and I definitely learned from it. My girlfriend decided that because I wanted to continue to talk with my old friend, that I was cheating on her and decided to leave. I ended up caving and told her I would cut them out of my life, and after about a week or so, we had gotten back together officially. Now, my wife is a very traditional woman and is all about no spicy sleep before marriage. Honestly, this wasn't a big deal to me as I was content with waiting for her, but as you would expect with two 19-year-olds living together, we ended up doing the deed before we were married. She had a complete breakdown afterwards, which made me feel terrible. A few weeks later, she said that we either needed to get married or break up because she didn't want me to keep being with her and getting all the benefits of being married without being married. I honestly wasn't ready to get married, but I also wasn't ready to break up. At the time, I told myself that I could always get a divorce if things didn't end up well.
No! God, well, how old are you now?
Dude, what kind of environment brought these kids up, man? Like homeschool and clearly casual divorce. You know what? We'll get married, and if it doesn't work out, I'll divorce at 19 and a half. Dude. But right now, I really liked her, and I wanted to continue that relationship. We got married roughly 6 months later after dating for 3 years. At first, things were great, and we moved away to a bigger city to start our careers. I ended up starting a sales job, and my branch had shut down about 3 months in. Part of the closure was an opportunity to move back to a branch closer to our hometown where we could live closer to her family. We ended up taking the offer, and we moved in with her family until we could get our own place. Keep in mind, this was during the beginning of COVID, and we lived in a small room in her parents' house with terrible HughesNet internet and no cell signal. About 6 months of that situation, I told her we had to move back to the bigger city and transfer to a branch there. She was hesitant at first, but reluctantly agreed. One of my female friends, Sam from this city, told me that this branch had an opening and would put in a good word for us to move back. We ended up transferring and moving back to the city. Now, as we lived here the second time, is where the trouble came. My wife seemingly became terrified that I was cheating on her. Every day was an accusation. Every text message was checked. My location was tracked. Even my late nights at work were an affair. And every time I just told her I wasn't cheating on her because I don't know how to prove it. Now I know I did this to myself, but the constant pressure of being scrutinized made me want to start hiding things. I'm going to give you a pro tip right now.
Break up.
If this is your relationship,
Break up.
break up. Especially if you are 19. Well, I guess now technically divorce. Because you got married.
I don't think they got married yet.
They got married before they knew what the real world was. That's never a good idea. For example, Sam moved to a new house and I bought them a housewarming gift. I used my credit card so my wife was able to see a charge for a purchase she didn't recognize and asked me what it was for. Not wanting to deal with the scrutiny, I lied and told her to wait until Christmas as it was coming up.
Dude, both of you are bad. Both of you are so bad at this.
They're 19 and they got married. She didn't believe me and I reluctantly told her what it was really for. This started another argument about how she wasn't able to really trust me because I was lying to her about buying presents for other women, which is true, dude.
You should have just told her. I don't know why you didn't tell her.
She ended up saying that she was going to get a divorce, and I told her to give me another chance. I would increase my transparency.
You should have just let her divorce you. You should have gotten the divorce.
Okay, continuing on. Sam and I would frequently talk after work and just hang out outside of the building as we left to go home. I did end up opening up to her about how jealous my wife had gotten about everything. I did tell my wife that I had these conversations after a while, which caused her to dislike Sam even more. One day, Sam invited me, her boyfriend, our boss, a few coworkers, and their spouses, and my wife to a bowling event. During the event, I had tapped Sam's friend on the shoulder to let her know that it was her turn to bowl. And at another point in the night, my boss's wife had tapped my arm to get my attention in a similar way. After we finished bowling and got in the car, she was noticeably upset and wouldn't talk to me. When we got home, she said she wanted to be alone and asked me to get out of the car and go inside. After a bit of trying to get her to open up, I relented and went inside. She managed to sneak in and go to bed without me noticing, and the next day she said she was going to go spend a week with her parents after she got off work. When I asked her why she was upset, she said it was because of the touching and said it was too personal. Once again, what will we do? 1, 2, 3. Break up. Divorce. Yeah, divorce. The big adult breakup. Divorce. I told her that she was being ridiculous, but she wanted to stay with her parents regardless. I convinced her to stay and talk to me for about 30 minutes after she got off work. I bought her a handful of snacks and energy drinks for the ride and basically told her that the touches weren't anything other than a way to literally get someone's attention in a crowded room. She ended up leaving that night and decided to stay with her parents for a bit. That night, on her way to her parents' house, she hit a dog and texted me to tell me that she decided she wanted to stay together because in that moment, she was aware of how it felt to be alone and that she loved me.
I think she's a psychopath.
What did I just
I think
read?
she's a psychopath. She hit a dog and then she's like, I think I want to stay with him because that makes me want to, like, that makes me feel alone. I think she's a psychopath.
I have read lines of actual psychopaths doing psychopath stuff, and that is one of the most psychotic things I've ever read.
That's very psychotic. I am scared for you now.
I told her I wanted to still spend the whole week alone now, and I went to stay with a friend for the week.
Okay.
Could it possibly be the end? Please let this end.
We are betting on it. It was did not go the right way. Thank goodness.
You do not need to be with this girl. What she didn't tell me is that when she hit the aforementioned animal, it did so much damage to her car that she couldn't drive it and had to get it repaired and get a rental.
Oh my gosh.
When I came home after the week, she said that I had abandoned her during a vulnerable moment and wasn't there for her when she needed me. I told her that if we were going to try and make this work, we were going to marriage counseling. She declined, and I told her we were done then. We both just lost a lot of money.
It's okay. The house always wins.
We're down $1,100, but I'm so happy about it. She changed her mind and agreed to go. Dang it! During the counseling sessions, it seemed like it wasn't really helping, to be honest. We both told our sides of what was happening, and they basically said we needed to figure out if we wanted to be together. My wife went down a self-help rabbit hole and bought dozens of books. Around this time, I had gotten a promotion to run my own branch, and Sam had moved away to manage her own branch as well. I ended up cutting Sam out of my life due to it causing my wife to get jealous. Keep in mind, my wife is able to have male friends because she, quote, hates women and otherwise wouldn't have friends.
Oh my gosh, there's so many red flags here.
That's
I know you guys are young, but oh my gosh, this is not young love. This is young torture.
Yeah, you said it best.
This is so bad.
One time, my wife invited me out to a work dinner with her and her almost exclusively male coworkers, one female coworker, and I had to decline because I had COVID, which she knew. and she had been driven home due to being too drunk to drive. I felt bad, but I essentially just completely started ghosting her and only responding to work-related messages in the shortest format possible. She eventually took the hint and stopped messaging me until one day Sam had to transfer back to my branch for family reasons. She had taken a demotion to make it work. I adamantly tried to find another way for her to be put in a nearby branch to avoid her being at mine, but it was out of my hands due to upper leadership. Now, around this time, the upper leadership took a look at the branch and realized that Sam was performing better than mine and decided that I should be the one to step down and Sam should have my spot. I ended up transferring to another department entirely to avoid working with Sam and to get away from my former employees out of shame from being demoted. I honestly think I managed to convince myself to hate Sam. I convinced myself that she was the reason I was demoted. I convinced myself that she and my boss worked it out together due to them being on really good terms. My wife joined in on the hate train and kept essentially egging it on, convincing me to hate her more and more.
I'm seeing red all over.
This is going to be a great ending, though, when he leaves.
I don't care anymore.
Right?
I've lost all my empathy and sympathy for this.
Guys, don't get married when you're 18 and a half. Don't do that.
No, you can. It's just don't get married to psychotic people. I'm going to tell you right now, both people in this story, they're both psychotic in their own very little good way.
If the marriage was going to work at 18, the marriage will work at 25. That's all I'm saying. I mostly ended up isolating myself from doing anything social out of fear of making her mad, but I talked with my male friends on Discord and played games with them. Once or twice a year, I would manage to go with them to do things, but my wife would insist on coming or being invited. Unfortunately, my wife doesn't like my friends and makes it very awkward when she's there because you can feel the tension and awkwardness. I've discussed some of these things with them in the past. I eventually just stopped going out entirely unless it was with her. And I really just didn't want to deal with any more accusations or drama. A year and a half went by and everything seemed good with my wife, and we ended up having her sister and her husband move in with us because we were planning on moving closer to her parents and I was going to transfer back to the branch near her parents. At first this was fine, and then she started to get so angry with them. She would every day and every night just rant about things like how they didn't do the dishes enough or didn't take out the trash enough. When we finally got to transfer about 6 months later, we moved in with her brother and his wife for about 8 months. She was about the same in terms of attitude towards them. She would get angry and complain to me all the time about how they wouldn't pull their weight or do chores. By this point, we had our first baby on the way, so I let her quit her job to prepare to be a stay-at-home mom.
This is going to be a terrible environment for that child. I am scared for that child. I'm sorry. I'm scared for that child.
Oh, OP, I hope you see the light by the end of this. And now I have to think of the children. Around 2 months ago, I had a dream about Sam and me just hanging out outside the store like we used to, and I woke up in absolute tears. I hid them from my wife, but I spent the next 3 hours just bawling and feeling so bad because what I did to her isn't me. For context, I drive about an hour and a half to work and back every day, so I cried from when I woke up to when I got in the shower, left for work, and the entire drive nearly. Around here, I've started to have serious doubts about where I'm heading in my life.
Now?
Well, yeah, I'd say bawling your eyes out from the moment you wake up to the moment you arrive at your job
After
when you
an
have
hour-
an hour and a half commute.
Yeah, dude. This guy, it's hitting him hard. It's hitting him real hard.
Do I really want to do this forever? Is this my life now? I can't even go out and be with my friends or buy myself something nice without dang near having a panic attack at this point. But now I feel obligated to stay as this baby boy is amazing. He's truly the best thing, and it still feels surreal even though he's been with us for 6 months now. I also have fears that maybe this really is just how our relationship is. It isn't. For God's sakes,
No.
it isn't. And I won't have anything better. She tells me that we have both made mistakes in the past and any healthy marriage has to work through them. I opened up to her about my anxiety and fears, and she says she doesn't even know why I feel that way since she hasn't been crazy in almost 2 years now, which were her words, not mine. She says to just go out and try to do things, and she will trust me now. But I really can't. There's a block that just prevents me and gets me so tense that I don't want to do anything outside of the home. I honestly feel so cooped up that I enjoy my days at work more than my days off. My wife went to stay with her sister for a week, and the entire time, the only time I felt sad was when I saw any of my son's things. It was honestly crushing to see his playmat or toys. I know I should just be happy that she has seemingly changed, but I don't know why I can't seem to accept it and feel like I won't be able to move on. But I also don't want to leave my son in a broken family. But you know who will never leave you? Us. When we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch, all you got to do is tap our profile and you're in the live. Heck, we might even be live right now.
Probably.
But before you check on that, let's finish this story.
Young love sometimes is crushing and it's very naive and it's stressful and you learn from it. I don't think OP ever got to learn from this. It was just like a consistent, gets back sucked into it like a black hole.
I feel like OP and his wife probably both come from an environment where marriage is emphasized very heavily, like from the beginning.
I at least think it's from his wife, because his wife, again, was homeschooled and that was her upbringing. She did kind of force his hand, like, if you're going to be with me, you got to get married right now. And he was just like, I guess.
I mean, he was the same way. He's like, I had no problem waiting. And then they just like low-key didn't because you were 19.
Yeah, it was very young and naive and young love. But again, this is like his first love, and they were just like, well, let's rush into it. It was just like, rush.
So there's just so many red flags that they might not even have been able to see. I've tried to go to a therapist, but they essentially told me that I should just make a pro and con list and see if I should stay with her, and didn't tell me any other advice other than, that seems tough.
Dude, I wish you could get out of this so bad.
OP, did you write the pros and cons list? No, I don't think you did.
Did you read what you wrote?
Recently, my wife admitted to me that she thinks she gave me PTSD and was sorry. She also admitted that the only reason she threatened divorce in the past was because she wanted me to open up to her, but that she doesn't believe in divorce and wouldn't sign any papers. Oh my God, it's just nuclear waste levels of toxic. I don't really know where to end this post, so I'm just going to go ahead and end it here. You should have ended this post when you moved in with your girlfriend in the first year of college, which, by the way, isn't the college you wanted to go to. And then things started getting weird. You should have ended it there. We moved in with my mother-in-law and things are going great, but my brother-in-law has been hard to deal with.
Get rid of him like a wart.
For context, my 26 male wife, 26 female, and I moved in with her mother earlier this year. We have been married for 4 years now and used to live in a big city. We bounced around from rental to rental due to my job being at a college campus and us being allowed to live in staff housing. In 2022, we were no longer able to live on campus, so we lived in a rental home in 2022 and then a small apartment in 2023. I left that job at the college in mid-23 and found a temporary job in the city. We both agreed that we were paying way too much in rent for jobs that were no longer paying the bills and moving us closer to our goals of paying off our debts and starting a family. So that's what made us move in with her mom, trying to save that money.
And get rid of debt. Okay, reasonable.
By the way, this comes from user prettyflyguy05 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So the goal was to aggressively put money towards our debt and begin to save money for our next living situation, which we hope would be owning a home. So far, we've done great, paying off all of my wife's student loans and cutting my student loans in half. We've now been living there for 10 months, and it's been good for the most part. Her mom is very nice, and we have come to mutually benefit from us moving in with her. We pay her rent, we buy groceries, I do a lot of cooking and yard work, my wife cleans the house, etc. Like a little family unit.
Wow, hopefully no one takes this for granted or starts misusing it.
Yeah, I highly doubt that. I say all of that to set the stage for how different it has been so far with my brother-in-law now living with us. I will refer to him as C throughout the rest of the post. Charlie originally was living with his dad, my wife's parents, divorced in 2020, and didn't have a good relationship with him. Charlie is not a bad person, but he is definitely bipolar. You have to walk on eggshells around him because at the slightest hint that you are upset with him, he will completely shut down, degrade himself, and say we would be better off if he left us alone. He is very difficult to talk to as he will make jokes or references that you may not understand and then degrade himself if you don't get it. To give you a picture of how difficult it can be to be around him, one time he and I went golfing together. I don't take the game too seriously when I play. I understand I'm not very good at it, but on the other hand, my brother-in-law is a pretty good golfer. About 5 or 6 holes in, Charlie is not playing super well. On one hole, he gets so frustrated that he took his clubs off the golf cart and said he was going to walk the rest of the round while I rode because he didn't want to bring me down. I told him that he's being ridiculous and would actually be bringing me down more if he decided to walk while I rode in the cart. Fast forward to about a month ago, and he has been kicked out of his dad's house. I say kicked out in quotes because the story he tells about how it went down seems more like he was literally asking to be kicked out. Yeah, that's confusing. Let's see how that works. His dad asked him to help move some plywood into storage. Charlie complained and questioned why they would need to keep old plywood. A foolish question. They argued back and forth for a little bit, and his dad eventually told him not to help and to just go. Charlie asked him if he was meaning for him to take all of his stuff and dog and move out. His dad kept telling him to just go. Charlie kept pressing and asking if he wanted him to move out or not. Charlie.
I think he just likes to take a little molehill and make it a mountain.
Come on, Charlie. He's like, why do we need to keep all this old plywood? First of all, plywood is one of the most versatile building materials for a variety of different constructs, which is why you don't throw out plywood. You keep it because you never know when it comes in handy. Also, this guy's just being like, we don't, he's complaining. So the dad's like, okay, this is more annoying than handling the plywood by myself. So just go. It's fine. And then he goes, just go. So what? You just want me to move out and take the dog and take all my stuff and leave? And he just goes, I'm not even going to entertain that. Just go. Just go. Go away from me right now is what this is. Here comes Riley.
Insecurity comes from feeling threatened, which comes from fear. So he needs to find out, in a way, with the therapist, what he is afraid of, so he can then stop feeling threatened all the time, so he won't be insecure and wanting to feel like he needs to leave anytime he upsets someone. Or if his dad's like, just go. That's coming from insecurity.
Yeah. Where it's like, oh, you secretly don't want me here, so just tell me. Just tell me now. Tell me. Because I know I'm afraid that you don't, so I'm going to press you. I'm going to make you say that you do so I can confirm my own fear. Wow, that was deep. Charlie continued to press the issue, asking if he wanted him to move out or not. The dad eventually says, yes, just take your stuff and go. I mean, at that point, after you've like repeatedly been like, are you sure you don't want me to leave? Are you sure you don't want me to leave? If I'm the dad, I'm like, does he want to leave?
Please.
I guess you can leave. Yeah, whatever. Do whatever you're going to do. Him living with us has been very difficult so far. There is a psychology term called the self-fulfilling prophecy, and I think he accurately fits the description, which is crazy that they just said that because I was about to say that, and I felt like it was the wrong thing to say. Turns out I was wrong. He thinks that he is a burden to us and that we resent him for being in our space, so he treats us and talks to us as if we believe that. After a while, it starts to get annoying for Charlie to treat us this way and to degrade himself every chance he gets, so whenever we show any signs of us being upset with him, his belief is now confirmed and reinforced. Not only is he tough to be around socially, he doesn't chip in the same way that we do, or at all for that matter. If someone has made dinner, he will eat with us, but if not, he goes out and gets fast food for himself. He will eat our snacks and drink what's in the fridge, but doesn't contribute to the groceries. Come on, dude.
Because he was asked to help out with a chore, plywood, he argued, and then got into that mindset and did that. So I guess anytime anyone ever asks him to do that, that's the cycle he goes into.
Yeah, you just can't ask.
You can't ask.
He has a large dog that we have all chipped in to help take care of. At this point, we have taken care of his dog significantly more than he has, buying it food, bathing it because it smelled disgusting, brushing it, pretty much everything. His dog is much bigger than our little dog, and when they play, our little dog ends up getting hurt. We now keep our dog upstairs in our room when we leave to go to work out of fear that he may get hurt even more. This past week, we are all having dinner together that my mother-in-law has made. As we're eating, Charlie complains about the food, saying that he can make it way better. Hey, Charlie, you say that at the dinner table, I'll kick you out of the house myself, even if I didn't make it. Mother-in-law's making that food, and you have the gall to be like, I'd make it better. My wife chimes in and says that we would love to try any of his cooking. I tell my mother-in-law that I think her food is good, trying to make light of the situation, and he tells me that because I have already been married to my wife for 4 years, I don't need to kiss my mother-in-law's butt anymore. I said that I wasn't butt kissing, but I genuinely thought her cooking was fine and said that food tastes even better when you don't have to cook it. He told me that I was being shady and proceeded to degrade himself more. If you want to degrade us, you can do so every weekday at 3 p.m. PST when we go live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch. Just tap our profile and you're in. We might even be live right now if you're watching this in the future. But before you go check, hold on, because we got a little bit of story left. Do I feel bad for Charlie? Yes. But like, would I feel bad for Charlie if I was OP and I'd been around this for so long? I think I would have been equally as worn down as OP. However, clearly Charlie is in need of some kind of help. And that's the problem I have here is OP doesn't seem to be moving with any level of empathy for Charlie, which is not cool. Like,
not cool.
Charlie clearly needs help.
Yeah, good guidance to fix himself.
Yeah.
Because this isn't sustainable to live with.
No, it's
with yourself or in the house.
And
it sucks too. They have no other options. They do, but it's very pricey right now for them to move out,
right?
Be somewhere else. They've tried that. It's really tough. Anyways,
we've got a little bit left of the story. Let's hope it ends with Charlie getting some help. Here we go. I really don't know what to do at this point. My wife is very distraught about the whole situation and feels crazy for feeling like Charlie has been acting ridiculous lately. They've tried talking it out before, but it doesn't go well. She had talked with her mom about it, and her mom has decided to not try to take sides. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. It's hard to have that conversation with somebody, and you got to keep doing it. And if the mom is like, I don't want to pick sides, this isn't about sides. This is about helping.
It's about who's right.
It's about helping
wrong.
your son.
Yeah, helping your son. Yeah.
Also, now in my own head, I just realized that his comment about his mom's food, because it's his mom, it's Charlie's mom, being like, yeah, you don't have to, it's not that good. I got actually really mad at that. I was like, how dare you disparage her cooking? But I'm like, okay, that might have actually been kind of like a lighthearted, sometimes families, they do little jabs for fun. It's just a fun little thing. To circle back, yeah, I feel like I want Charlie to be in therapy. My mother's tragically sudden passing has been hard on all of us, and my sister is only making things worse. We just celebrated her 56th birthday mid-September. I stayed overnight and surprised her at midnight. I had to leave early for a flight booked at noon, my first time missing my mom's birthday, so to speak. So I figured no harm. There would be many more to come, right? That was a Thursday. By the way, this comes from user Sorry I Am New 2002 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, my flight back home a week later was severely delayed, so much that I would miss any train connection back home. When I asked my dad to pick me up, he confessed to me that my mom was hospitalized. She didn't want to worry me on my vacation, but it's nothing serious, just gastritis with some nasty nausea, just another Thursday. After staying up all night at the airport train station, I made my way to visit my mom. She looked exhausted, but not too bad. Cheerful to hear about my vacation, she too always had wanted to see Dublin. I brought her a cheesy magnet and a card of the docks. She talked about our next flight there together. She loved historical cities. Saturday, I was at brunch with my friends, and I was happy. I just turned 22, and then my mom had a nice birthday. I just came back from a great vacation, and now I was having brunch with my dearest friends during a newly established brunch tradition. Growing into an adult felt great until my dad called. He says, "Are you sitting down? Mom's MRI results came back and her head is full of metastases. She's going to pass."
My gosh, what a phone call.
That is one of the probably worst phone calls you can ever have.
I don't know if she's gonna pass. It would be like she has a week or two left.
I won't forget his cries. We had hope. The neurosurgeon of the hospital would not arrive until Thursday. The other doctors said that they might just be abscesses, but no one told us how many. Until another dang Thursday, over 60 were in her head. They've spread all over her body, he said. Nobody knows how she's still doing so well. She was in good condition except for the nausea, but no surgery would be able to fix this. That's terrible. That's tragic. I mean, silver lining is that she's doing so well that the doctors are like, I don't even know how she's still in this good a condition. So I guess silver lining is you were still able to sort of bond over that. The vacation you had, she was still doing, she was doing better than she should have been at the very least. I was the one to break it to my 16-year-old brother. I was there overnight just before she passed when she was starting to cough blood and choke on it. She passed on, of course, another effing Thursday. in the morning.
Thursday mornings are not for you. Thursdays
Arch
are my
enemies now.
favorite day of the week.
Not anymore, not after the story. That day, family was all I had and all I wanted. We held each other and we cried with each other. My older sister, 31, had been in denial about our mom's passing up until then, but she was very visibly upset, shouting and crying out for help. Up until her death, my sister wouldn't stop talking about how our mom was the epicenter of her life, how she only talked to her. Are you getting where this goes? She was jealous of anyone who had belongings of our mom, like our little brother, her half-brother, and demanded that she get the same stuff he got, namely a bracelet. She said she was the one who chose the grave spot, while in real life it was a communal decision. She held a spontaneous concert at her funeral without telling us, her siblings, telling me how horrible it is to lose a mother at 31, ironically. The day after her death, she borrowed a sweater of mom's. I even gave it to her, but when she walked into the room later that day, she looked like a ghost, with my mom's clothes on, her jewelry, her hair put up like that, and even smelling like her perfume, and I cried. So much that my boyfriend asked her not to come into the living room for a moment as the picture upset me. Her takeaway of this was to ignore me for the whole following week. A lot of emotional immaturity showing itself here.
Yeah.
Which, you know, they're all going through something extremely traumatic, and sometimes something like this will rear its head. I mean, it will become very obvious, and it seemed like she was also in denial about it the whole time until it literally happened. And then it all came crashing down on her. That's got to be a lot.
Death brings the worst in families. That is so true.
Yeah. My older sister just went mute on me. At the memorial, she didn't talk to me. At the funeral, she didn't talk to me, only our older brother. I had to be there alone for our younger brother. After the funeral back home, she got mad when she overheard my dad talking to me about his wish to remove my mom's decorations in about a year after her passing. He wanted to leave it for now to honor her, but it's excruciating for him to see the best mom ever pillows and picture frames from Mother's Day. I told him I don't like the idea, but I understand it. My sister went ballistic about him trying to forget her and me supporting this. Apparently, she overheard another conversation where I assured my dad I would support him no matter what, even if he wished to remarry one day. That last part made me the ultimate traitor, I guess. She went on about how I was disrespectful and how she wanted to punch me, how she hated that in the inheritance, my dad, which is her stepdad, I was adopted by him, gave her and the older brother a disadvantage because I get gold and she wouldn't. But that's because I'm not married yet and she had hers already.
Oh, it's a cultural thing. The bracelets, the bangles. Maybe I'm wrong or not, but they like get those whenever they're married. And I guess sounds like she wants her mother's, but she already has bangles.
Yeah.
If that's the case, if that's what
It might be it.
And they also said mom, so I don't know. I'm not seeing American
I
here.
don't think it's the States because they're doing the MU spelling. Even if that's not the case, I can't grasp how that can be so dang important. I don't even want that stupid stuff. She held a tirade about me in front of other relatives while my dad asked me to stay inside, but I heard it. I told her not to talk to me until she gets a grip. Not my finest moment. Nobody seems to be having their finest moment here. Last Thursday, ironically, I met her at the cemetery. My brother showed up with his girlfriend and my sisters joined us too. While the other two were talking, she came to me in a bantering tone and told me we should both stop acting like babies and talk again. No apologies, no hugs, no asking how you are. I said no, not yet, because if I just say it's okay without processing everything, I know it will come up again. I told her this and she got mad again, how it wasn't my boyfriend's place to talk to her like that. How I was the one to give her the jumper, why am I making a big deal of it? She makes it feel like I have to be the big sister for everyone, the one who puts her grief to the side and only considers others' feelings. But for God's sakes, I'm 22 and I just lost my mom. She won't be at my wedding, my graduation, or when I give birth. I'm chronically ill and a not well-off student, and yet she blames me for not showing up enough. Where does that come from? I don't have a car or a rich husband like her that can free me of my responsibilities and let me stay at the hospital 24/7. Uni doesn't stop because mom passed. I have to drive 2 hours to my parents' house with public transport, 3 when I come from university. Man, that is just a lot.
A lot to deal with.
By the way, you can join us live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitch every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile and you're in. If you're watching this in the future, we may even be live right now, but don't check on that yet because we still have a little bit of story left.
I saw a comment earlier. I think it was from Prince X or Sophia Calon. They said she lost her mom at 16 while the sister lost her at 31. So it's kind of hard that she's taking it this way and not really being there for her sister.
Yeah, the older sister is going MIA emotionally for her younger siblings. For all of them, it sounds like. For her, for OP, and the brothers as well.
Because OP still has to go through, school, still has to deal with that kind of stuff. And it's just weird to see where the headspace is.
All of her younger siblings also are going through loss.
Yeah.
And are grieving. And she's not able to do anything except make it about her, it sounds like. Which we do not support. But I think probably a good move here would be counseling for the whole family. Family counseling session. Everybody sits in. Grief counseling. I think it's absurd for her to be upset that the father wanted to, a year down the line, take some of the memories, the picture frames, this stuff away. Because it's like just constantly reopening a wound. It's like it's never going to heal.
You got to give it time.
And yeah, it's going to take time, which is why he's like, I'm not doing this today. I'm doing it in a year, but I digress. Grief and loss is just never easy. Let's try to get to the advice section. Let's see where this ends up. My sister's tearing the family apart. She's mad at dad, who's grieving just as much. She's mad at my little brother because he stressed her so much, and she believes he's the cause of mom's cancer. She's mad at me because I don't grieve like her, because I'm not mad like her. She's mad because I'm adopted and she's not. I don't know how to deal with it. My family was perfect until September. My mom was my best friend, and there's no instructions on how to do this right, but apparently I'm doing it all wrong. I hate Thursdays. It's not that funny, but I feel like I hate Thursdays was a nice sliver of relief. Family group counseling, and if your sister doesn't want to be a part of it, I don't think you should be
in contact.
Yeah, I don't think you should be entertaining her communications. You need to be like, look, I need time away from you. If you're gonna grieve like that, you're welcome to do it, but I don't want to be around it.
Yeah.
For you to even imply that your younger brother was the cause of your mother's cancer, that's a sentence that once it escapes your mouth, that never goes back in.
You can't shove it back in.
You can't get the genie back in the bottle after that comes out. And that's something that if I was the younger brother, you'd be functionally dead to me if you said that to me.
When the family glue passes, the family falls apart.
Ain't that the truth? My wife was horrific at dinner with our son's girlfriend. I told her she's the same as her parents.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Not hitting her with the, you're just like your mom.
I think we might have some traditional values incoming.
Ouchie.
I, 53 male, am white. My wife of 30 years, Naomi, is Japanese. We have 3 kids. This story focuses on my oldest son, Kyle, who's 28. When Kyle first got to college, he began dating a Japanese girl, and when he introduced her to my wife, Naomi loved her. They didn't end up working out, but for the past 3 years, my son has been seeing Danny, a black girl. By the way, this comes from user OKButterfly3820 on the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, my son was in medical school across the country, and he ended up meeting Danny because they were both volunteers at a soup kitchen.
That's so sweet.
What a wonderful place to meet somebody.
That's so nice.
I remember the first time he sent a picture of her, my wife immediately didn't like her. I'm going to try to phrase this without sounding ignorant myself, but she looks like the urban black girl most think of when African American women. He's like, if you think of a stereotype, she looks like a stereotype.
You sound a little bit ignorant.
That sounds pretty rough, dude.
It sounds like you tried to avoid sounding ignorant and kind of fell right into it.
Well, let's see. He explains she has the big hoop earrings, the long nails, the long eyelashes. I think she looks stunning.
I think she looks great.
I think she looks stunning, but I've never been in a situation where I was involved in African American culture. Recently, my son moved back to our city for residency, and Danny moved with him and started law school. They were staying in an Airbnb while looking for a place, and this week they finally found one. So they invited us over for dinner. Danny cooked soul food, and this stuff was amazing. I complimented her food, and my wife gave me the side eye.
Girl, why?
Oh, I think I'm just going to say Naomi's racist. Calling it. Naomi then pulled out her phone and asked Danny, why does she dress like that? And why was she twerking in public? Kyle asked his mom what her problem was, and then I took the phone to scroll through Danny's Instagram. While she did have some photos of her having fun, she also had plenty of pictures of her academic achievements. Before Danny could answer, I told my wife that Danny is young and having fun. I asked, did she see that Danny graduated cum laude or all the times that she volunteered? My wife looked angry that I would bring that up. Naomi then said that she thinks that Danny isn't good enough for our son at dinner.
In front of her?
Do you mean the girl he met volunteering at the soup kitchen?
Yeah, the volunteering at the soup kitchen, and you're going to be like, that girl's not the magna cum laude?
Yeah, not good enough.
Come on.
Danny then asked why Naomi loved Kyle's ex so much. She didn't graduate with honors. She has many different boys that she posted on social media. Danny then said it was evident that the reason Naomi doesn't like her is because of her race.
Oof.
She's just putting it out there.
Wait, read the next line.
Naomi doubled down. Oh God, Naomi doubled down and said, so what? I have never heard Kyle even disrespect his mother before, but he told her to get the F out.
Yeah.
Good job, Kyle.
Good on you.
When your mom gets viciously racist, you gotta tell her to get the F out. Naomi left crying. In the car on the ride home, I asked her what was her problem. She asked why I didn't defend her. Whoa! I said because she was being racist.
Because she's being racist.
And a hypocrite. And she's acting just like her parents.
Ooh.
Her parents didn't like me because I was white. She just said it's different and was just silent on the way home. And when we got to the house, she locked herself in her room and started crying. I can't feel bad for her because if someone disrespected my wife the way she disrespected Danny, I would have absolutely done the exact same thing that Kyle did. But am I the a-hole because I was also harsh towards her in this situation?
No, you're not the a-hole. Your
No.
wife was being racist.
Your wife was like, yeah, I don't like you because you're black, so what?
And then, yeah.
Whoa!
And then,
It's like, that's not anything you ever get behind.
no!
You don't have to back up your wife when she gets racist.
Yeah. Sometimes
With
you
your
don't have
son's
to support
girlfriend.
your partner.
Yeah, not at
Sometimes when
all.
they're actually crazy, you don't have to support their partner.
Here's some comments with replies from OP.
Yeah.
Not the a-hole, not to pry, but you've obviously been with your wife for 20 plus years. How is it possible that you didn't know she's virulently racist until now? There was never a situation where we were directly involved with African Americans. She's never displayed this type of behavior. Racism is not a preference.
Okay.
OP continues, racism is not a preference, and it's not even about her, it's about my son. Supporting racism is never something I'll do, and that's not why I asked. I'm never going to be sympathetic towards her. I asked if I was too harsh, not if I was wrong. This is a horrible mentality, and at the end of the day, my wife is apparently racist. I'm not about to try and understand that. That's crazy. Could I have been kinder? Absolutely. Could I understand where she's coming from? Absolutely not, especially given our situation. I've had contact with plenty of black people. They have never been intricately involved in our lives. Like her siblings never dated black people, neither has anyone in my family. The closest person would be my middle child's best friend, and they didn't really connect until the middle of high school. And now we have an update, and I hope that this update involves leaving your racist wife.
Leaving your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that a lot
What
of
did you
times.
say? It sounds like it's learned behavior too.
Yeah.
Learn from the parents.
Well, yeah.
Learn
you have
from the
that,
parents.
When you have that background of people telling you, you know, all of these things.
Yeah.
You have to actively work against it, and some people don't do that active work.
Here's the update. So I want to mention a couple of things. First off, I've been around black
He's
people.
like, guy.
Guys, I'd like to say I've had several black friends in my life. They were never part of my inner circle until Danny came along. All right, so I actually scratched that. I've never had black
He's like,
friends,
I've
but I
seen
have
a black
seen them.
person.
I've seen black people. They
Yeah.
exist. Also, I think that it's stupid that twerking has a negative connotation. It's just dancing, and the video that my wife found Danny in was at a nightclub. She wasn't at church dancing that way. We're twerk positive here.
Yeah.
At OK Story Time.
Yeah, we love a twerk. That's why Keon comes on and twerks.
That's why we hired Keon. My daughter Ari and her mom are very close. So I asked her to breakfast today and we talked. I just asked her if she knew her mom to be racist. She asked why, and I told her about the incident with Danny. Ari told me everything makes sense now.
She's like,
Ah.
oh, that's why all of those times when I thought she was being racist, she was.
She's like, oh, everything just clicked. That was the last piece of the puzzle. She said it was subtle, but when she was in high school, she lost a chess match to a Hispanic boy. And Naomi said he must have cheated. But during another round, when she lost
subtle.
to a white girl, her mom just said that she was really good.
So subtle. So subtle.
She listed a few other incidents, but it was not hard to see Ari come to the realization her mom is not who she thought she was. Ari then explained how this is bad because Kyle told her how he was about to propose soon. Oh, boy.
No.
Well, Mom's not going to that wedding.
Oh, no.
Mom is not invited to the wedding.
Yeah, don't invite her.
I guess Ari talked to her before I could because my wife asked me, how could I bring the kids into this argument? I said, this argument is about their brother. Our kids are very close, so they were going to find out eventually. I said, since she's done crying, does she want to explain what last night was all about? Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
let's
Oh,
talk
by the
about
way,
you being racist.
since you're done crying about being racist, can you explain yourself?
Please?
She said it's not that serious. I thought how if my son and Danny got married and had kids, I wouldn't be involved if I chose to stay with Naomi, and that's not a chance I was willing to take. So I packed my bag and told Naomi if she's not even willing to talk to me, I can't stay in this relationship. She said stop before I left out the door and started crying again. She admitted to having racist tendencies. She also admitted that she's jealous of Danny. She said she was supposed to succeed like her and be smart like her. She said it's not fair. Ah, so you're like, I'm supposed to be better than her. She's
I'm
the,
gonna be racist
she's
and
the
tear her
smart
down.
lawyer, wonderful person who's like volunteering at the soup kitchen, and I'm a terrible, stupid bigot
Yeah.
who has done nothing with
Well,
my life except make children, I guess. I said it was fair.
Because you freaking suck.
Growing up, my wife was not poor or had it hard by any means. She had access to tutors to the best school. I said that's a sad and pathetic excuse.
Yeah. Like, too bad.
Is that what so she tried to cry and be like, you don't understand. It's just, she's so much better than me, so I hate her.
It was hard,
and
so that's why I'm racist.
Yeah. But you know what we'll never find pathetic is you joining us when we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Twitch. Just tap our profile and you're in. And if you're watching this, we might be live right now. She then said she was losing both of us to Danny. I asked how. She talked about how I complimented Danny's cooking but don't like Japanese food. I explained how I'm just not a fan of Japanese food. I will eat it when she makes it, but it can't be about the food because she already had a problem before we got there. I told her I'm leaving and that until she changes her ways or gets help, I'm not coming back. And I'm getting a divorce if she doesn't apologize to Danny and mean it. I've just been driving around since that conversation, and I'm hurt that the love of my life is not who I thought she was.
Yeah.
Damn. And that is the end of that story.
Ouch.
Damn.
Ouch.
Yeah, I
ouch,
think
ouch.
separation, period, is required. The only way to sort of salvage the marriage is that you separate and let her try to grow and change at a distance.
Yeah.
Because it is like, I don't know I thought that I was married to
yeah.
the love of my life. Turns out I didn't even know. I'm
shocking.
now reevaluating everything that my wife has ever said or done, which is, that's bad.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
My friend confessed her love for me weeks before her wedding. I don't know who to tell.
Marry her.
The internet.
My 35 male friend Bree, 35 female, just told me she loves me 4 weeks before her marriage.
Timing.
Oof.
Is it like friendly love?
She's like, I love you like a brother. And I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here. I want to know if I'm doing the right thing. By the way, this comes from Throwaway WW24 on the OK Storytime subreddit.
Was this like, hey, I love you. If you love me, we could ride off into the sunset. And if not, I'm going to marry this person?
I don't know.
It seems like that.
To give some context, I lost my wife 2 years ago. I have a 5-year-old daughter. I have not dated in the last 2 years because I have major trauma from losing my wife. I still love her a lot and don't think I'm ready to move on. I invested all my time in my daughter, who looks exactly like her mother, and my work to keep my sanity for the last 2 years. I have been friends with Bree since we were in elementary school.
Oh, wow.
We lived in the same neighborhood growing up, and we were best friends. She's an awesome person, and we were inseparable growing up. The weirdest part was we had completely different personalities. She was very outgoing and always had a lot of friends. I am a big introvert, and Bree, along with a few friends, was all I needed. Bree was a serial dater, and I don't remember any time since middle school since she was single. Bree and I never dated, though. Bree and I also went to the same college. She never had a stable boyfriend, but just jumped from one relationship to another. I, on the other hand, did not date seriously until I was in my junior year. When I met my wife, she was a freshman, and we hit it off instantly. We fell for each other and spent all of our time with each other. This strained my relationship with Bree, as I would generally hang out with my wife instead of her. That was the time Bree and I slowly started drifting apart. After college, I moved to a different town for my job, and Bree and I occasionally messaged each other, but nothing beyond that. Bree attended my wedding, and that was the last time I saw her. I wonder if Bree was in love at that point.
Wait, so he got married in college, or he's just referring back to?
He met his wife in college
and
and
just
then married her
referring back
after.
to her as his wife. Okay.
Bree attended my wedding, and that was the last time I saw her. We kept in touch, but mostly by commenting on each other's pictures or keeping each other updated on significant life events. Bree did reach out to me when my wife passed away, and we talked on a phone call. Last year, Bree and her fiance moved to my city. I was still grieving, and both have been amazing support for me and my daughter. My daughter
sweet.
loves dancing, and Bree helped me enroll her in dancing and gymnastic classes, and sometimes takes her to them. I also became good friends with her fiance, who is indeed an incredibly good man. My daughter also loves Auntie Bree, and Bree sometimes helps me babysit. So they're very intertwined now.
This is really sweet. I'm glad that OP could get the support.
Yeah.
Until
now.
Until now.
Yeah, messy. Last week, she told me that over the last few months, she feels like she has started to develop feelings for me and is not sure anymore if she wants to go ahead with the wedding.
Oh.
She felt I also had started developing feelings for her. I told her that I'm not ready for any relationship before I can deal with my mental health, for which I go to a therapist regularly. She tried to convince me that she loved me, we're soulmates, and she felt that we're meant to be together.
Wow. That's big.
That's a big, it's like, okay. However, I do not have the same feelings for her.
Oh.
I love her as a friend, but nothing beyond that. What is she supposed to do with the other guy?
What?
She's just going to stay with that other guy? The fiance?
I don't know.
Has she been rejected?
I don't know. Yeah, it's super awkward now.
We were both emotional, but she said she was glad we talked about this. She left after that. Bree called me that night and told me not to talk about our conversation to anyone. I thought a lot about it and decided that I would not tell her fiance about B and my conversation from last week. It's their relationship, and I do not have the right to ruin their moment if Bree decides to go ahead with the wedding.
I object.
However, I feel guilty that her fiance does not know anything about this and is going into a marriage where Bree might not be fully ready for it. I think he just needs to have a conversation with Bree and say, like, girl, don't jump in if you're having second thoughts.
Yeah, if you're into me, like, why are you marrying this guy?
Can you guys give suggestions on what I should do in this case? Am I wrong for not telling her fiance about our conversation? And there is an update. I think my advice is to, like, pressure her to talk to him. Be like, hey, you need to, like, don't go into this wedding if you haven't had the conversation, or don't go into the wedding at all. Like, don't marry him.
Yeah, I would talk to her and just be like, hey, like, I love you, like a friend. And, like, are you sure it's the right decision to go into this wedding when you just confessed your feelings for me?
I think that may be coming from that.
Yeah.
A month ago, I, 35 male, wrote a post regarding my friend Bree, 35 female, telling me that she loved me only 4 weeks before her wedding. The last month has been crazy and my whole world has turned upside down. Again, for context, I lost my wife 2 years ago and we have a 5-year-old daughter. Bree and her fiance, Jason, 33 male, moved to our town a year ago and we have reconnected as friends, and they have done a lot to cheer me up during this year and bring my life to normalcy. After Bree told me that she loved me, I told her that I was still not ready to move on as I still miss my wife. She said she understood and I did not hear from her or Jason for a few days. The guilt was killing me, as I was not sure if I should tell Jason about what she told me. Thanks to everyone who commented on the post. It helped me think the situation through.
I could totally understand. But, like, Jason has supported him in his grief.
Mm-hmm. And that's like a big step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so to, like,
Harry
be
and
around
spaghetti,
him and to, like, know something he doesn't know.
It would be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I finally called Bree after a few days and asked her to meet me for lunch. I talked to her and asked her if she was going ahead with her wedding. She broke down and told me she was not sure. I told her that she should at least talk to Jason regarding her feelings and not be dishonest with him. I also assured her that I would not say anything to Jay, but I just wanted her to be happy. She said she understood and left. That night, I put my daughter to sleep and was watching TV.
Oh my God.
Around 9:30 p.m., I heard a loud knock on my door, and it was Jason. I opened the door, and he was in tears. He started yelling at me and asking me why I had to steal Bree out of all the people. I tried to calm him down, but he just kept on shouting. I was trying to get him to sit down on the bench on our porch. I told him my daughter was sleeping upstairs, but he was getting more and more physical. He punched me in the face.
Whoa, no,
Jason!
no.
Come on, man.
And I was able to push him off. I told him to get out of my house, and he sat in his truck and drove away. I immediately called Bree. Oh my God. Jason.
God. That's why you should know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, fend him off.
Yeah, put him in a chokehold.
I immediately called Bree, and she was crying and did not sound well on the phone. She told Jason that she could not marry him because she had feelings for me, which I think that is the right decision.
Yeah.
I was really scared for her after the physical altercation with Jason and told her to gather some clothes and get out of the house.
Oh.
I think that's fair. I mean,
No. Like the next line.
Oh. She did that and came to my place. I just didn't feel she was safe with Jason. I consoled her for almost 2 hours and was able to get her to sleep. The next morning, we had to call her parents to let them know about what had happened. Bree kept a brave face, but I could see how much she was hurting. Her parents asked her to take a few days off and immediately come back home, and she did take a flight in the evening to go home. Over the next 2 weeks, the wedding was called off. Bree and I were talking every day, and she was just very exhausted. She talked to Jason a few times and kept on asking her to take more time to think. However, I think Bree just wanted to get out of it and decided to just break it off with Jason. Currently, Bree is staying with us for the last 2 weeks. She still has a job here and started going back to work last week. I have talked to Bree in detail about what had happened. Bree told me that Jason and her were dating on and off for the last 4 years. Jason is not very career-oriented, and Bree is very good at her job. She felt he was nice and a reliable person, but was unsure about him from the start. She felt that she was not getting any younger, and hence they decided to get married. When she heard about my wife passing away, she just felt really bad and wanted to be around me to comfort me. When she got her big promotion, which meant she could work in a corporate office, she immediately chose my city and moved here. Jason also moved here and got a new job. She never had any romantic feelings for me back then. As she started hanging out with my daughter and me, she started feeling the bond we shared when we were growing up. Except I was the broken one and she was taking care of me. She said that she realized that she was enjoying her time with us more than with Jason. She then realized she made a mistake with Jason and what she wanted was right in front of her this whole time. Just a boy standing in front of a girl. Wait, swap that.
Yeah.
Asking for him to love her. Hence, she slowly started to think about me in that way and finally told me about it. She knew her relationship with Jason was over the moment she confessed to me. It's a crappy situation, but I'm glad that she realized that before getting married versus after. As for Jason, I feel bad for him. He's moving back to our hometown closer to his family. He's currently in their apartment and will move sometime next month. I know a lot of you would be curious if we were dating. We're not dating.
Oh, that would have been fun.
That would have been a huge plot twist.
Yeah.
I don't think I can date anyone right now, and neither should Bree. Yeah, she just ended an engagement.
Yeah.
She's my friend, and I'm happy that she's staying with us and plans to be here until everything is sorted out. My daughter loves having Auntie Bree around too, so that's a bonus. Plus, it's really nice to see her slowly get back to normal. Thanks again for helping me during my last post. Cheers. And there is an update 9 months later.
Oh, I'm excited.
I wrote a post 9 months ago about my friend Bree telling me that she loved me a few weeks before she was supposed to get married. For context, I lost my wife 3 years ago, and we have a 6-year-old daughter. Bree and her fiancé Jason moved to our town a year ago, and Bree confessed her feelings for me just weeks before our wedding. Things went south, and Bree ended up breaking up with Jason and canceling the wedding. She was staying with us when I last shared an update. I think the story was picked up by some popular YouTube channels. And people have been messaging me to find out what happened afterward. I wanted to maintain our privacy, especially since many of our family members saw the video and recognized my post. They didn't know that Jason had assaulted me, and I had to assure everyone that we were safe and okay. I'm feeling particularly happy this week, so I thought I would share an update. Firstly, the reason Bree moved in with us while Jason was still in town was because I had a temporary restraining order against her.
Dang.
Bree also filed one, but was denied.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So it kind of makes sense for her to stay with him.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
So yeah, now she's protected under his restraining
Yeah.
order.
As he had never directly threatened her safety. She said she felt secure with us because of the restraining order, and I agreed. Jason didn't cause any issues after that, though he continued texting Bree, asking her to work on the relationship. Eventually, he moved back to our hometown in February, and we haven't heard from him since. Bree got her own apartment once Jason left town, but she remained very much a part of our daily lives. I enjoyed having her around, and my daughter loves her. In April, Bree brought up the idea of us dating again.
She's really behind.
Bree's like, okay, so it's been a couple months. Have we thought about that? Have we considered? I explained that I wasn't over my wife's death and didn't want to be unfair to her because I still love my late wife deeply. Bree told me she knew she could never replace my wife, nor did she want to. She shared a beautiful analogy. She said, my heart is like a big pot. It holds a lot of love for my late wife, but it has also made room for more love when my daughter was born. Loving her wouldn't erase my love for my wife or daughter. It would simply mean there's more room in my heart than I realized. I love that Bree's kind of like lawyering her way into getting OP to love her.
Oh, she convinced me. That's so sweet.
She's like, have we considered that you should love me though? Just for you.
And then like, here's a beautiful, touching metaphor.
I took a month to think it over, talking to my mom and mother-in-law, late wife's mom, who both encouraged me to give a relationship with Bree a chance.
Oh.
She literally lawyered her way into this.
It's working. I'm telling you.
We officially started dating in May. No!
This is literally a rom-com.
This is a rom-com.
This is
I
what
did
Rose
not
is.
expect this.
We officially started dating in May, and it's been surprising how quickly we fell in love. This is kinda crazy.
Shocking.
This is
crazy.
This guy had a closed heart
Yeah.
because of his late wife, and he was like, I don't believe in love anymore.
And
Pretty
then
much.
she's like, believe in it. I think the strong foundation of our friendship helped a lot. The last 6 months has been amazing, and I've never seen my daughter so happy.
Oh my gosh, this
Dude,
is
Jason
so
is
cute.
quaking in anger right now.
He's like,
Ah!
she's a big chatterbox now and insists that Bree comes to all her school events and recitals. Sometimes I feel a little jealous of their bond and even a bit left out of their little chats. By the way, you can never be left out of our little chats if you join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube. Just tap for our profile. Tap it.
Tap.
And there is a little bit left, but any final thoughts on this relationship?
I thought they were gonna stay friends.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna
But
be
like
buds.
really good friends. I mean, they're already good friends, but like,
she's a good negotiator.
Yeah.
She's like, we gotta love me. It's time.
give love a chance one more time with me.
The reason I'm writing this update is because I'm planning to propose to Bree this Christmas.
This is a rom-com.
I'm a
This is a
stan.
rom-com.
I'm a stan. I think this is adorable.
This Christmas, this is a
so
Hallmark
sweet.
movie.
I like it.
It's not a surprise proposal. We went engagement ring shopping last weekend and finalized the ring. Oh my God. So she's really good at convincing people to do things. I knew it seems quick, but I can't imagine spending the rest of my life with anyone else. Bree deserves to officially be part of our family. My daughter is thrilled, and she and Bree are already shopping for dresses for the engagement photo shoot. And Mirka Weiss says, this seems fast. I agree. For someone, like, he literally said, I'm not over my wife. And then was like, actually, I am going to get married to you now. After 9 months.
9 months is quick, but when the heart opens.
When the heart knows what
But
the
also,
heart
she was
wants.
with them.
That's true.
She was
The
with them
whole
for
time.
the 9 months.
I mean, and he's known her his whole
That's true.
life.
Plus the other stuff than when she was there.
All
prior.
true.
Yeah.
Our families couldn't be happier, and we plan to get engaged at a small gathering of family and friends over Christmas weekend in our hometown. I know some people judged me for taking Bree in after she left Jason, and others judged her for leaving him at the altar. Life isn't easy, trust me.
It wasn't officially the altar.
Thank you all again for your support on my last post. And that is the end of this story.
I want to go no contact with my child's dad because he's in prison.
Won't be that hard to not be in contact.
I, 26 female, have a 6-month-old son with my ex, 31 male, of 1 month. I know what you may be thinking, and yes, you read it right. Before my son, I was a hopeless romantic, and I accepted love in all the wrong places. When I broke up with my ex, and soon after found out I was pregnant, I learned my lesson about having relationships and being too trusting of people I barely know. I have been single and focusing on taking care of my son ever since. A little background on the history of my ex and I. And by the way, this comes from user Routine Librarian 883 on the OK Storytime subreddit. We met on social media last year, and he texted me first with a line that I've never heard from anyone. It made me laugh, so I thought I'd give him a chance. He said all the right things to me and lied about so much. For example, he lied about having a twin sister and she's the same age as me, and I fell for it. What a weird lie.
Maybe people find lying attractive.
That was just a weird, compulsive lie. We ended up meeting in person, and he told me that he loved me after a week or so of being together.
Aww.
A major red flag that I ignored. And that was the very night I conceived my son.
Let's go. I love you. You get a son.
That's a love baby, right?
I love you, Dakota.
That's a I love you baby. Shortly afterwards, I found out he was cheating on me and he stole money from me. Then about a month later, I found out I was pregnant, and when I told him, he was excited at first. We kept a line of communication, but he made most of my pregnancy stressful. He denied my child and told people that I was pregnant when we met. We only had spicy sleep once. We didn't, but if we did, the dummy doesn't realize that it only takes one time to get pregnant and that we were never in a relationship. In the same breath, he was trying to cheat on his several girlfriends with me, but I wasn't having it. I would also notify him of appointments to check on the baby, and he would say he'll come, and ended up being a no-show. I tried to keep him updated on the baby, and he would say that I didn't. He had me involved in so much drama, and I eventually found out he had 2 other women pregnant at the same time as me. This guy's an overachiever.
Whoa.
Very, very strong swimmer.
Sharp shooter.
He denies getting one of those 2 pregnant, but I know he's lying. It was just all too much. Eventually, we went no contact, and shortly after, he went to jail. He stayed for the better half of the pregnancy, and for about the first month of him being incarcerated, we got back in contact with each other again, and he tried to make me do favors for him that I wasn't comfortable doing because it would start drama, or I just wasn't obligated to do any of these things. And this became a huge problem for him since I was not doing what he wanted. It turned into an argument, and he told me not to contact him again. So I told him he wouldn't hear from me again and blocked him. Imagine having the cojones to be in prison and being like, don't contact me, we're done.
Wow.
For months, he had strangers texting me on his behalf, asking me to contact him because he felt remorseful. I blocked those numbers as well because I didn't want to stress anymore during the rest of my pregnancy than I already have. Long story short, we were in contact on and off, and he eventually was released from jail. He didn't attend the birth of the baby because I didn't want him there. Thank God.
Wow.
I wanted to have a peaceful labor and delivery, which you deserve. After my son's birth, he was asking to see him, but I didn't want him anywhere near us. My mom made me change my mind by telling me that I should let him see the baby because I don't want to give him the chance to say that I never let my son see him if he were to ask in the future why he couldn't come around him. To this day, he has not physically seen my son since he was born and has only helped once with him financially. He's only seen him via FaceTime, and after a month of my son being born, he went back to jail for violating his probation. Ever since, we've been on and off with communication. He always tries to get back in a relationship with me, even when I have told him no several times, and he knows why, but expects me to get over him treating me like crap when I was pregnant. This guy sounds like a grade A scumbag. Don't get back together with him. Probably keep your child away from him as well. He flirts with me and calls me bae even after I would tell him to stop. We still fight from time to time, and he always goes out of his way to disrespect me. So now I don't answer when he calls unless the baby is awake, and he says things to me like, when I call, you need to answer, and don't let anyone keep you away from me. These are huge red flags. Like, don't let him know where you are.
Change a number, move.
Get out of the area you're in. Yeah, you don't want this guy messing around. He sounds like he's kind of going to go off the deep end here. I don't want to talk to him unless it's about our son. I've made this clear to him several times, and he blatantly dismisses it and gets angry because he can't get any control over me. He doesn't respect me or my wishes, and I don't want to deal with it any longer. But I don't want to deny my son of his father. I feel like he thinks he has some kind of sense of ownership over me because I have his child, and it doesn't sit well with me at all. Would I be the a-hole if I stopped contacting him because he makes me feel uncomfortable? You'll never make us feel uncomfortable. When you join us live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. PST, just tap on our profile.
I understand your consideration for your kid not wanting them to be angry at you that you never saw, that they never got to saw their father. I think it's safe that if they make you feel uncomfortable, you don't owe them the right to stay in contact. And you can explain that to your kid when they get older. They may hate you for a little bit, but I think you have to protect you and your own first.
The vibes I'm getting from this guy are definitely not someone who would be safe to have around.
Yeah.
I think literally for the safety of you and your son, it's probably best that he does not ever find himself in a position where he could have power or control over either of you. Thank all of you that have been giving very helpful advice. I really appreciate it. Also, any negative comments will be deleted and you will be blocked. I know what I did was not the best thing, but as I stated in the beginning of this post, I learned my lesson. I have an example to set for my son, and I will never believe anything or trust anything another man tells me unless I see some action behind it and he matches it. I'm not dating and don't intend to. My main focus is on my healing and making sure my baby is taken care of. Yeah, you don't need to focus on dating. You just need to focus on the healing and focus on raising your kid.
It'll be a minute, but be patient with yourself.
Yeah, because if we don't heal, we can't really be there for others if we don't be there for ourselves first. I knew my husband was perfect for me because I stalked him.
I think it just makes your relationship easier.
You're just putting in the extra effort, OP. I see you. I, 24 female, married my husband, 28 male, about a year and a half ago. The first time I saw my husband, I was a freshman in high school, and he was a freshman in college. He was walking his dog at the park when he stopped to talk to my brother, 27 male, because they happened to go to high school together. That was the moment I became hooked. Oh my God. That same day, I found his Instagram, his family social media, and also where he lived, since my brother offered to walk him home while I tagged along. When I got home that day, I knew I wanted him, but of course, I was only 14 while he was 18. So I came up with a plan. By the way, this comes from user HotRelation899 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I found out his younger brother was only 1 year younger than me and would be attending my current high school. I figured that I had to befriend his younger brother by any means possible next year when he moves up as a freshman while I become a sophomore. And I did. It took about halfway of my junior year where we became best friends, and he invited me over regularly to his house to hang out. This is where I was able to befriend my current husband's mom, and God, did she love to talk about him.
Flip was switched, and this is in Crazyville. We are in Crazyville.
Hey, this is just a girl who knew exactly what she wanted.
Yeah.
At 14. Knew exactly who her husband was going to be and was like, I have a plan. From her, I found out what college he goes to, his past girlfriends, what his elementary/middle school was, his favorite/least favorite foods, his pet peeves, what he likes, etc., etc. This is actually starting to scare me.
This is scary. It's also scary, like, knowing what's going through your head right now and talking to the mom to get all this. At least she's not snooping. She's just asking questions.
I mean, she's not snooping yet. I don't know. It seemed like
you think she...
Day one,
dude, she probably
day
would.
one, she snooped, bro. What are you talking about? Day one, she was like, I doxed him. He was fully doxed. No, and she found out where he lived.
You can do a little social media stalk, but once you find where they live, ooh.
Eventually, when my visits started getting more and more frequent, I formally met current husband again. Current husband, who I'll call E. Let's call him Ethan. Ethan would come over every other week and stay for either Friday through Sunday or Saturday to Sunday. On those days specifically, I would wear my cutest outfits to impress him and also joke around with him a lot. Eventually, I befriended him as well. A little background on Ethan. He's the school record holder for a certain sport at my school, which I just so happened to do. And around halfway through my senior year, Ethan came back during the season to help coach the current high school athletes, which included me, in order to get some more volunteer work hours in. And I got to spend a lot more time with him. I loved every second of it. We were friends before, but then we became much closer since I got to spend lots of extra time with him after school, where sometimes he would even drive me home since we lived relatively close.
Oh boy.
I can only imagine like the little trophies and trinkets that this girl was like secretly like taking like from his car. Like she would just like run her finger like over the dashboard and like a hair was on there and she would just like to just eat it. This is what true love looks like. Don't let anyone tell you differently.
Psycho. Goodness gracious.
No,
I mean,
this is
some of
not
this stuff
true
is cute.
What's not cute is that this guy became her husband.
Yeah,
like,
I think
got married.
It's all planned out. That's what I don't like. It's
It
like
would-
all
yeah.
methodically planned out. Then I get her mom. Then I get her. Then
Yeah,
I-
it was like this strategy of like, first I'll get to the little brother. Yeah, and then I'll work my way up. It's pretty scary. I don't know how I'd feel if I was the husband reading this. Fast forward to when I had to move away to New York City for college. Ethan moved with me since he coincidentally got a job near my college. Edit, I lied. It wasn't a coincidence. I found out he got a job offer and applied to a college nearby his workplace. This girl's going the extra mile. Being each other's only friends in a new state, we became incredibly close. We started dating when I was a sophomore in college. He proposed to me after I graduated, and we just got married almost a year ago. He knows absolutely nothing about how I truly know him and believes it is fate that brought us together through his younger brother. Lately, I've been debating on whether or not I should tell him, or at least tell his younger brother, the truth, since the only reason I befriended him was to get closer to Ethan. I feel guilty every time he tells others our love story because the truth is I've known him for 10 years while he's only known me for about 7. This also started at 14.
Yeah.
Think about a 14-year-old brain. The level of
20 now.
infatuation that this 14-year-old had with this guy.
Oh boy.
I told him this 4th of July. After the fireworks mostly ended and we were heading back, I asked him in the car, wouldn't it have been weird if we had met each other before the first time we actually met? But we just didn't think of each other as significant at the time? He smiled and he said, that's impossible. There's no universe where we would have met and I would not think of you as significant. That statement struck me in my heart because I knew I would soon prove that sentence very wrong. But I continued on with my plan anyway. Oh my God, girl, your commitment. What if I told you we have met each other before? Before that time, I was introduced as Ethan's little brother's friend. He looked at me like I was crazy. So that's when I pulled over on the side of the road and pulled out my phone to show him the post I put up here before that explained everything. She showed him this post. Oh my God, you are built entirely different.
This would be such a good movie.
This is a good script. He took about 8 minutes to read the whole thing, and when he finished, he put the phone down and stared straight ahead like he was dumbfounded, scared, confused, all at the same time. I started throwing out every excuse and apology I could muster at the moment for about 15 minutes straight when he decided to tell me to stop, and I did. Then he just sat there and sobbed uncontrollably for about 10 minutes before he finally asked me how much of our relationship and how much of my identity was fabricated according to his liking. I told him the honest truth that none of my personality or identity was fabricated for him. Girl, do you believe that? That's because if you believe that...
So if I was playing this whole game, some of the parts of it would be like my true self. I'd probably be like, I'm really not that into Star Trek.
Except for the fact of how we met. The only thing I ever changed about myself to make him like me more was lying about liking Chinese food. Because I hate Chinese food.
Okay, that's what that, okay. I'm cool with that.
Well, that's one thing. That's one thing. But other than that, everything else was real. Although my friendship with his younger brother was built upon ill intentions, my friendship between his brother and I is now one of the most genuine friendships that I have. He just cried and told me that he doesn't want a divorce at all, but he does want us to have some time apart so that he can absorb the truth that I gave him. He also said that he expects me to tell his brother and mom this Friday because they deserve to know the truth just as much as he did. I told him okay, and we drove the rest of the ride home in silence. When we got home, he hugged me and cried for about 5 minutes before he got out of the car, packed his stuff, and said that he'll be staying at a nearby hotel for now. He said that he knows that he still loves me, but does not yet know how to react to the fact that the beginning of our relationship was very orchestrated. To sum it all up, I guess telling him was a success? I honestly don't know. He sent me a good night and I love you text last night while he was at the hotel. So I guess he's not so much mad as he may feel betrayed. And there's another update.
I think they feel betrayed.
Can you imagine if you felt like you had been tricked for 10 years by your wife that you just married a year ago? Like if you and like your girlfriend, like if she secretly told you like, yeah, I've known you for 7 years. And that random happenstance how we met wasn't random at all. I entered that contest to win that so that he would bring me there so I could meet you. Hey, what did I say at the beginning, guys? Find you a girl who actually likes you this much. It scares you.
Oh,
right?
Man. My response is, oh, that's cute, but I've never been that deep into it, so I don't really know.
How many people have really been in that deep where it's like somebody is scheming for 10 years?
Well, I do kind of have like someone that kind of stalks me a little bit, but like I'm not interested in them.
Okay, see? But it's you already know about it.
Yeah, I already know about it.
This guy didn't know about it until a year into their marriage. I woke up this morning to find out that the hubby not only lied about going to a hotel to stay at, but also lied about not wanting a divorce through a text message. Well, if I can just interrupt real quick, I don't think he was necessarily lying. I think he was just trying to compute one of the most unbelievable things he's probably heard in his entire life.
And he's probably scared.
I mean, he didn't know what to say at that moment. He probably meant it in that moment. He's like, I don't want a divorce. I just need time to think. Then he thought about it and he was like, yo, I need a divorce now. He went to his family's home, not a hotel, and then told the entire story himself, probably exaggerated it too to make me seem crazy.
That could be a possibility.
You know, I don't want to say...
You don't sound crazy at all.
I don't want to say that's
crazy.
Impossible. His whole family wants nothing to do with me and claims I'm a psycho. He said that he lied about going to a hotel because he knew if he told the truth, I would try to stop him. Honestly, I feel so betrayed. Shut the hell up, girl. You lied to him the entire time you were
This happens with cheaters.
together.
They're like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. And the second they do one of the things while they're doing all these other things, it's like, why'd you do that? You betrayed me. And it's like, huge double standard.
It's like, you got to be able to understand that this guy just had the biggest like truth bomb of all time dropped on him. This woman he's in love with and thought it was all just magical fate. now has all been thrown completely upside down. And by the way, you can join us live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. I tried to be a good wife by showing him the true me. This person is completely unhinged. And this is what he does? I did all this work just for it to end up like this? Honestly, I kind of deserve it. I didn't even tell him in the first place because I felt bad. I told him because I had a suspicion that he was catching on to the fact that I knew him for 2.5 years before he knew me, largely because I found out he was keeping my old phone in his work desk. My old phone that has screenshots of a lot of his old Instagram posts, plans in my notes app about him, etc. So I guess he never truly loved me if he can't even get past an honest confession like this one. I might update this in a few years when I find a new husband.
New project.
Shout out to the unfortunate soul that becomes this person's next husband. My friend's girlfriend hates me. I thought I was just being a caring friend.
She's just jealous of you.
Please don't judge first. Let me finish my story. Do you see? Don't judge. I've been thinking for quite a long time about this whole shenanigan. Now I just think maybe you guys can help. Sorry for any grammatical mistakes or misuse of words since English is not my first language. It's kind of long because I'm kind of sad. I, 27 female, have been friends with, let's call him Zed, 25 male, for about 6 years now. I met him my first year of uni. We are in the same uni studying the same subject. We both are really extroverted, like to try new things, make new friends, love to attend all sorts of events going on, etc. By the way, this comes from user Sassy Missy Sissy on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I was really happy to find a friend like him who really matches my vibes, and he felt the same. So I started texting him quite a lot because I was just excited to share new things with my new friend. By the way, I am really a very caring type of person since I am the elder daughter of the house. I always like to be there for my friends and family whenever they need me. So one day it was raining cats and dogs outside, and I asked him if he needed an umbrella or a ride maybe. He all of a sudden told me that he has a girlfriend, which was the first time he had ever mentioned it. I was kind of feeling weird why he would mention this now, then came to the realization that this is very inappropriate of me asking him such questions because he is not single maybe? I understood the hint and started not sending him so many messages until it was something important. This was when I first met him. After half a year, I was looking for someone to go with me to see a horror movie. He sent me a message and said he'd like to go. Then I made sure to ask him if his girlfriend was okay with it. He said he broke up with her and he was devastated about it. We started talking again because he was really sad and kind of wanted to change the mood. So I made sure to take him out a lot with my other friends to make him comfortable. This went on for about a month, and all of a sudden, my best friend, 25 male, started asking me if I liked Zed. I felt really funny because I wasn't even that close to Zed at that moment because of exam pressure. I made sure he met new friends and went on to do my own things. I asked my best friend why he would ask such a question, and he said it was because Zed was suspecting that I'm into him and was asking my best friend how he could politely tell me that he would prefer to be friends with me. I felt really humiliated because Zed not only presumed so many things about me without even having the courtesy to ask me, but he also was kind of bothering my friends with these kinds of questions, which is totally not true. So I was really sad and decided not to talk with Zed anymore. Zed understood that I was very unhappy with what he had done and was truly apologetic about the whole situation. He apologized many times and we decided to be on good terms again. Throughout this whole procedure, we get to know each other more and become close friends. He has a code that he does not want to be close to any girls when he's in a relationship, and I totally respect that. So when he is in a relationship, we only talk when he contacts me. During quarantine period, I went back to my country and he got a long-term girlfriend. So we were kind of out of touch, but knew about each other's big events in life. I came back recently and he was super excited to introduce me to his girlfriend, which he is thinking of marrying now. I am super happy for him because he is a really nice person and friend, and his love life was not always very smooth. Our first meeting after I came back was just me and him. I asked him about his girlfriend, but he said she was busy with work, which is fine. I asked him if she knew that he was meeting a female friend and was okay with it. He said yes, she does, so I didn't think a lot about it. We had a great time, talked about all the things in our life in detail. It was really nice meeting a longtime friend after a long time. Later, on several events, I asked him about his girlfriend, and he always had excuses, which I felt really weird about and had a gut feeling that something was wrong. He was preparing for a very important exam, so one day I was just asking how everything was going on, blah, 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 and he said he was very confident about it, so I, as any good friend would do, said, "That's the Zed I know. You can do it. You'll nail it." He suddenly told me that I should maybe change the way I talk to him. And to be exact, quote, be more rough and manly, not so girly, because his girlfriend might be angry to see those kinds of messages. I was shocked. I have not said anything any normal person would think twice about. I was just trying to cheer him up. But since he said, I owned it, that I will not send him any messages like that again. But I'm already pretty sure that his girlfriend might have some kind of misunderstanding about me. Fast forwarding to my birthday, I specifically asked him to bring his girlfriend with him because I think all kinds of misunderstandings would go away once we're introduced to each other. She'll understand what kind of person I am and what kind of friendship I have with Zed. I wanted to make sure I knew all her boundaries so that I can make sure I can follow them, so that my friend doesn't have to be in a bad position. It's a long friendship and it's very precious to me, but I don't mean to be any kind of trouble. But she did not come, and I ended up confronting Zed in front of a couple other close friends of ours, and he finally admitted that his girlfriend doesn't like me and doesn't like him being close to me. It was kind of known to me at that point, but I was still confused because I haven't even met her, so why would she not like me? All our other friends also think that she will have a change of mind if she meets me, but Zed said unfortunately she just doesn't want to. So I decided not to bother them anymore. Now I only talk to Zed when he asks me for something. Nothing initiated from my side.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either. I mean, it sounds like it's not Zed. It sounds like it's his girlfriend.
100%.
And so
he's like,
and then you can't then make him choose between you and her.
Opie's doing every right thing that they're trying. They're like, I'm trying to be very particular here, be very nice and respect boundaries and communicate that, and it's still not working.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I met with Zed a couple more times with some other friends of ours, including female friends. They had all met his girlfriend, but she had no issues with them, only me. And by the way, do you know what I have no issue with?
Me?
Well, besides you.
What?
You joining us when we go live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Twitch. Just tap our profile and you're in.
Easy.
And if you're watching this in the future, we might even be live right now. OP's high key doing everything right.
Everything right. And I don't see how it could be perceived as a bad thing or like, no, she's doing the wrong thing, but it somehow is.
It has to have been like a misunderstanding about like some moment they had in the past where she's like, oh, OP wants Zed so bad. So bad. It's like she can't hang out with you because she just wants you.
Do you think Zed has feelings for OP? That's why Zed is like also like, I gotta keep my distance because I can really hurt myself here.
No, actually, I don't.
Okay.
Because I think if he did, he probably would have taken an opportunity, or he would have tried to explore that possibility earlier on.
Maybe, or maybe he just got afraid. I mean, that happens all the time. It's like, oh, this is one of my friends. I don't want to ruin the friendship. I want to maintain this.
Well, that's what he said too.
Well, that's the thing.
When she was like, oh, he thinks I have a crush on him. I mean, okay, that's fine. No, we'll just be friends.
I don't know. It's just like
because that's what I want to be.
That thing with like a mutual friend of ours like came out of the blue and like, do you like Zed? You kind of like Zed, don't you? And you're like, it's kind of random, but yeah.
Zed and his girlfriend are kind of going through a rough patch right now because of their different goals in life. She is a very ambitious gal and he is very easygoing. I still talk with Zed whenever he contacts me, but I kind of feel bad because I think I'm stepping on some boundaries even though they never were shown to me. I don't want to ruin a good friendship, but I also don't want to be the reason for another girl to be unhappy. So am I the a-hole? Please be gentle with words. I know we're a loving community, not a hating one. Thanks, guys.
I like OP. OP seems really like OP's cute. OP's cute. Just like the way
sweetie.
OP, you're a sweetie. You're cute on how you wrote that, how you said everything, how you want to go about like boundaries.
OP is for sure sweetie pie out of sweetie pie. Max
level.
Sweetness level. No, I wouldn't say you're the a-hole here.
Not at all.
I wouldn't even say there's, well, if there had to be one a-hole, I guess it would be the girlfriend, but I'm sure she's operating from a place where she just...
It's a place of insecurity and fear.
Right.
And then control.
From her point of view, it makes perfect sense for her to want nothing to do with someone who she thinks has like a big crush on her boyfriend.
Or
and
that
it makes sense that she wouldn't want him to have anything to do with her either.
Or that could be a thorn in the side of a relationship, hence why she's limiting it. We don't know. Maybe we only know this is from OP and Zed. We don't know if Zed is also doing this with every other female, but it seems like it probably is.
Yeah. I mean, they have other female friends that his girlfriend doesn't have any problems with.
That's what I'm saying. But like, we don't know the total, like if it's just OP strictly or if it's like a couple other girls or like 2 girls, 3 girls. We don't know. But what I do know is that's very toxic to limit your partner from talking to people who is just a platonic friend. If it was a history of like an ex, I can see that. Or again, if there's a history of like them casually doing something, I don't know.
Here's what I'll say about that from personal experience is that like I agree with you most of the time, but sometimes, I mean, I can't speak for the ladies if they have this intuition, but sometimes the guys, they have an intuition.
Like,
I dated somebody and I had a guy who started wanting to hang out with her frequently, and she was just like, "Oh, he's a cool guy," and I was just like,
He's sly. He's trying to be sly.
He does come off pretty cool, doesn't he?
I get that. But that's the end of that story.
And the end of this episode. So, if you love us, make sure you subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.